afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to VidaneTV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. We have got ourselves a long, smooth afternoon of racing here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Here for the Tim's Corner Motorsports 6th annual, crazy to believe, it's the 6th annual, 6th running of the Jim Hallahan 333. 333 laps on the docket here for the main event of the evening. Going to get ourselves some qualifying races. We got some heat races, a little bit of alphabet soup to get ourselves into the big show here tonight. Taking 24 of the quickest super late models here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Glad to join us. If you need yourself a snack, shoot on over to VidaneTV and make sure you get yourself a little bit of DoorDash action. $8 off your first 4 orders, courtesy of VidaneTV. Use that QR code there on the bottom right of your screen or follow that web address. We will hook you up. A long afternoon of racing here tonight. Don't want you to starve. Want to make sure that you got all your zooms and your whams as the lights are off in the iRacing pace car. We're getting ready to go racing here for the first time this afternoon. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. Riley Duncan going to start on the pole. Ryan Libby, Ryan Messer, Greg Snellgrove, Jake Goodwin, Dave Horton, and Nick McKay going to be the 7 drivers in this heat race. A couple of drivers missing the call. Kerry Duke, Brandon Langell, Ethan Hicken, and Tim Terry. I know Tim Terry rolled out that backup 28 car, so he was going to try and make a couple of laps here this afternoon. Looks like the duties in the big red truck may have prevented him from doing that. But these heat races going to be 12 laps a pop. Going to have ourselves a handful of consolation races as well. Those are going to be 20 laps pop, and then 303 laps on the docket for the main show here tonight. This is going to be a whole lot of fun. From the last count, we had over 42 drivers show up for these 24 spots. Going to be taking the top 4 of each heat race, top 4 out of these Conti races as well. Barney in the flag stand, well, he's letting us know it's time to go. Green flag flies for the very first time this afternoon, and we are racing at Bristol. Ripping around this raceway. These drivers have been practicing all weekend long here at Bristol Motor Speedway. A lot of laps for these drivers as they cruise around this racetrack. You can already see a couple of different lines in this racetrack as we motor on through the laps here. Timing and scoring giving us just a little bit of difficulty, as it usually does here on a Sunday afternoon. But we'll get that fired back up and let you know exactly where your favorite driver is running. As of now, Riley Duncan still holding on to the lead. There you can see, whoa, there's a little bit of a slide there for Greg Snellgrove in the 122, the 22 blue and yellow machine. He's behind Ryan Messer, Ryan Libby in the top 3 positions. Right now, that 22 holding on to the transfer spot, but that lead is getting, the battle for the lead, rather, is starting to heat up. Ryan Messer now closing in on the back bumper of Riley Duncan. Great to see Riley Duncan back in that number 97 late model. Runs a lot of the events here in the Tim's Corner Motorsports, and a lot of these drivers putting on a clinic here. A lot of the best super late model and late model stock drivers in the iRacing simulation and really in the real life as well. A lot of these drivers out in the Maritimes of Canada, the northeast parts of the American country as well, turning some laps and doing the thing here as we like to do. And here you can see Ryan Messer shooting up on the high side to see if he can get himself just a little bit of grip. Nothing quite there. Going to tuck into the tire tracks of that 97 once again to see if he can make up just a little bit of ground to get to the back of this one. 5 laps to go in the first heat race of the night. Riley Duncan still your leader. Ryan Messer, Ryan Libby, Greg Snellgrove, and Jake Goodwin currently the top 5. You can see Messer has enough to get right up to the back bumper. He's down on the bottom side of the racetrack, had those tires chucked on that yellow line. You can see really gets close up to the back bumper here with that number 1 car, but doesn't quite have enough to get around. Popsicle 6, 2 laps to go now here at Bristol in heat race numero uno. Riley Duncan just has to hold on for a handful of corners. He's going to get around 3 and 4 A-OK. And you can see Messer's right in those tire tracks now, doing everything he can to try and get just a little bit of grip. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get up around that 97 machine. So Ryan Messer going to finish in second. Going to make the show. Doesn't get himself a victory, but Riley Duncan indeed does. Ryan Libby in the show, as is Greg Snellgrove in the 22. Jay Goodwin, Dave Horton, and Nick McKay going to have to race their way in to the big show here this evening, and we get these drivers racked up, stacked up, ready to rock and roll here for heat race numero 2 as they are lined up there on the front straightaway. Going to be Dylan Black and Tanton Woldridge there on the front row. Mike Alexander in the 75 returning to us here on VidaneTV. How about the 13 of Avery DaCosta starting at P4 there on the outside. Devin Laffin in the 8 car. Danny Vitch in the 29, and he has returned that Major Melon Mountain Dew car. That is the loudest paint scheme we have ever seen here on VidaneTV. It actually looks like it tastes good. Like if you were to go up and lick that race car, it looks like it would taste like Major Melon Mountain Dew. Big fan of the Major Melon car. Glad to see Danny Vitch rolling that back out here on the 29. Ben Pelletier in the 24, and behind him, Riley Frost, Ricky Miller, Brandon O'Neill, and Caleb Urquhart going to be the 11 drivers in this one. So missing a couple of drivers in that first heat race. So they got the tame way in, I guess we'll call it, as these drivers have to worry about a little bit more competition. A couple extra cars there out there. It's going to be 10 cars. Mike Alexander not making the call on the green flag lap, or on the parade lap, rather. So he may start this one from the pits. He may start this one in one of the consolation races. But the lights are off. We're lined up 2 by 2, just waiting for Barney in the flag stand. They'll let us know when it's time to go. We'll take the green flag here for heat race numero 2 and find out the next 4 drivers that are going to be making the show here this evening. Pace car dips down to the safety of pit road. He's going to hook up that DoorDash order for the crew. I can feel it in my bones. Green flag is out. Heat race number 2 is rolling once again. 10 laps on the board. Tanton Woldridge going to try and take it around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. There he goes. Tanton Woldridge in that 56 car to the lead. Dylan Black going to slide back into that second position in that number 8 car. Looks like it's the number 3 on that car here. New paint scheme there for the second position. Dylan Black in the 08. Avery DaCosta holding on to third. You can see not too much competition for that 13 car. Oh, Devin laughing up to the outside wall. The 17 is going to give him a touch as well as everybody else in behind. With 10 laps to go, rather, in heat race number 2. That is going to be detrimental to everybody's attempt to try and get into the main show here this evening. Let's back up to US Racing Designs instant replay and see if we can't take a peek at it. And got to give a shout out to iRacing. I believe these are all iRacing cameras here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, because I don't believe I've had a chance to switch them out. There's a lot of cameras here at Bristol Motor Speedway to choose from. And man, I'm just telling you, I can't find exactly where the chopper cam is. Cacao. There we go. We'll take a look at it. We saw the 29 was able to drive on through. The Rowdy Energy Drink number 30 back here, kind of minding his own business, and there's the incident. The 17 was kind of pointed in the wrong direction there of Ricky Miller. We'll back that up real quick and take a peek at it before returning to the live shot. 8 up in the outside wall. There's the 17, the 32. Pretty much everybody getting a piece of it here in this one, and you can see a handful of drivers down on pit road getting those cars worked on. So we'll see if they rejoin the field here momentarily, as the you can see the lights are still red on the entry to pit road, and the caution lights are still out. So we'll parade around here for a little bit of time. There is that 3 car of Dylan Black. New colors for him. Tanton Woldridge in the 56 holding on to the lead. And you can see they are doubling up, so we're going to be coming to 1 to go. And you can see there are 5 drivers out there that don't seem to have any damage. Looks like the 024 as well as the 30 there of Caleb Urquhart have retired from this event. Devin Laffin still on pit road, getting some service to that 8 car, having some issues with the crew, it looks like. So 5 drivers back out on track. Ricky Miller going to rejoin the tail end of the field here in that 17 car. Bit of a majestic restart there for the 56 of Tan Woolridge, but everything looking A-OK. They're side by side for second as Woolridge able to pull away by about 7 or 8 car lengths. 13 car of DaCosta having a solid run in this heat race. Drifts up just a little bit, opens up the door down on the bottom side for Dylan Black. Dylan Black going to try and take that spot back as they are side by side going down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. You can see that lower entry for Black, able to slide back up. Going to get ourselves another crossover. No, Black going to slide down, slam the door, hold on to the second position for the time being. All with this happening, Tan Woolridge pulling away now with 4 laps to go, 3 laps once they get to the stripe. There you can see the 58 quietly holding on to that transfer spot. Ricky Miller going to slide up into 5th as he gets around the Danny Vitch ride. Or Danny Vitch gets around the 17 car, rather, moving him up to 5th. 58 car has a little bit of room in behind him to try and hold on to that transfer spot. We've got 2 laps to go, though, for Tanton Woolridge, and he knows a thing or two about these super late models. Don't forget, he tied the champ, Ryan Messer, in the RBR Season 7 championship last season here on VidaneTV. Messer had some Wi-Fi issues, prevented him from competing in the final race through its entirety, and Tanton said, no, sir, I don't want to win the championship like that. I want to beat him. So they held another race, and Tanton lost by 1 position on the racetrack. But definitely a valiant fight. Ryan Messer, we call him the Iron Man here on VidaneTV because he just wins doggone everything we've got. So that was a heck of a dogfight there in the RBR Maritime group. Tanton Woolridge is going to take home the trophy on this one as we line up the heat race number 3. And they are going to be led to the track by the number 93 car, very loud race car. Love that paint scheme. Green and pink, the 93 on it really pops out. James Pileski going to roll off P1. Ricky Arbo in the 61. Great to see him back here on VidaneTV. Regan McCauley back in behind the wheel. The number 64 going to roll off P3. Nick Axworthy rolling off P4. How about Dave Cassidy, James DeVoe, Noel Fougier, Cameron Matty, and Wyatt Peters going to roll off. 9 drivers in this heat race. Looks like CJ Nickerson and Garland Meadows not going to be making the green flag for this one. Great to see Garland Meadows in the field this evening. Longtime buddy of mine. Hopefully he gets everything ready to rock and roll for the Consi's coming up. Try and get himself in here and show what he's got. He's dusted the old wheel off these past couple of months, and he's going to be hooking that wheel up or getting some more practice laps in for this week. Liberty Racing League comes back to us here on Tuesday night, and we're going to be running VidaneTV the Ocho this Tuesday as we got ourselves double booked, running 2 races at the same time. The Liberty Racing Daytona 500, 500 miles at Daytona International Speedway here Tuesday night. The Oil Boys are going to be running at Stafford as well. Looking forward to the doubleheader. Bizzle going to be helping us out with the production, and I know Garland Meadows is going to be running for that championship belt in that Liberty Racing League series. $30 to enter for new members, $20 for returning members, and any Vidane Racing alumni. And we got to let you know that 4th race of their season going to be the 20th anniversary race of the Vidane Racing brand. We'd love to have everybody join that race here with us, all of our friends, family, and supporters. As we got ourselves a green flag once again, James Pileski with a beautiful start in that number 93 car, able to pull away, but Ricky Arbo able to reclose that gap very quick in that 61 car. Has a little bit of a later apex it seems like, and closes in just a little bit on the back bumper of Pileski, but you can see as the 93 drives off, really able to pull away. The race right now, though, is for 3rd, being held by the 29. That's Regan McCauley. Timing and scoring has been the 64. Oh, he's up to the outside wall. The 29 car gets, or the 62 rather, gets into the back bumper of him as well. We're still playing some bumper car action. That was on that is the epitome of the broadcaster's curse as we take a look rather at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. We watched it happen live, and McCauley just a little bit too hot to trot, getting out of the corner there in turn number 4, up to the outside wall. And it was just like, I think it was a Sarah Evans song, where you and me, baby, were stuck like glue. No, that's not Sarah Evans. That's Jennifer Nettles. He's up there singing to the wall. Stuck like glue. Unfortunate event, though. That's going to put a little damper on the 29's chances here tonight. You can see he's going to try and get to the back of the pack and work his way at least halfway through this field. Try and get up into the top 4, and maybe not have to race their way in through those consies, but anytime you have to race your way in through a consi, it gives you a couple extra laps with more cars out on track. So might not necessarily be a bad thing to find out what these cars are going to do with more cars out on track and just a little bit longer, a couple extra laps, as it were. So 8 laps to go here in heat race numero 3. Pace car going to dip down to the safety of pit road. Another great start there from Pileski in the 93. Able to clear once they get to the line. Everything looks good with the start. We stay green. Ricky Arbo there in second. Nick Axworthy in third as they run Noel Fougier quietly taking that 36 car up into the transfer spot. He's holding on to it right now. Dave Cassidy, though, right in behind him with that number 9 Bud car. Fougier taking a peek down on the bottom side, as was Ricky Arbo there. Briefly, thought a little bit better of it. Fougier going to get on by the 62 car, sliding right up in front of Cassidy. Not quite enough room there, but Cassidy knows if he can get around that 62 Mellow Yellow ride of Nick Axworthy, he's going to be in the show. He doesn't have to run through that consolation race here. 5 laps to go in the third heat race. Door handle to door handle is the 62, and now the 12 car coming in to try and make a little magic happen. Cameron Matty joining the fight, going to move on into that top 5 position. Has one more to make it into the show, but Dave Cassidy starting to drive in now to the back bumper of Noel Fougier in the 36, as they are both trying to chase down the leaders, and they've got their own dogfight that they're working on. James Pileski going to come out of 3 and 4 and come underneath the starter stand to popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go here in heat race number 3. Pileski doing everything he can to hold on to it, and you can see he's putting just a little bit more distance now between he and Ricky Arbo there in second. Fougier, you can see just coming into the picture for the white rag, white flag. He's going to hold on to that third spot, it looks like, here in this heat race. Just a quick little caution early on to get things kicked off, but nothing too crazy. Not going to have to bust out the backup car or anything. Checkered flag there for Pileski. The 93 car going to add a heat race trophy to the truck. Ricky Arbo, Noel Fougier, Dave Cassidy going to move into the transfer spot there. Cameron Matty going to have to race their way in to the consolation race. Nick Axworthy and company going to have to jump in there as well. Got to thank everybody for tuning in here this afternoon. I know it's a little bit early for us when we get on the air, as it's just a little bit afternoon, lunchtime, I guess you could call it. Got to shoot on over to the DoorDash, Vidane.tv/DoorDash. Make sure you use that QR code or use that URL there. Save yourself $8 off of your first 4 orders with a new account over there at DoorDash. Appreciate everybody tuning on in, spending your lunchtime hour with us as we get qualified in for the big Jim Hallahan 333. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth, and you may or may not have noticed that I am indeed a bit under the weather. I am not okay, as Jelly Roll would say. Had a little New Year's Eve party, and, well, I feel like everybody was sick. So, a little bit of the struggle bus here in the production trailer, but we're going to fight through it because we're trying to entertain the masses here at VidaneTV. No rest for the wicked, as we have got a lot on the go here at VidaneTV. We're off tomorrow night, but man, oh man, Tuesday night, big-time double with the Oil Boys returning their iLate Model Nationals Series. Racing at Stafford, one of their Triple Crown events, 113 laps on the docket, and then 500 miles Tuesday night for the Liberty Light Racing League, who are still looking for members. Cool little deal. They're using the old Vidane Racing Super Speedway model, where they only run super speedways, whether it's Daytona or Talladega, but they switch back and forth between the different manufacturers and the different car types and the different quote-unquote mods, as it were. So they'll race the Cup cars, then the trucks, and then the 87 cars. And the key thing to keep in mind, a couple of key things. A, the champion, overall season champion, gets a wrestling-style championship belt. And B, if you're in the series, you automatically get the invite to race number 4. Now, what's race number 4, you say? That's going to be the 20th anniversary Vidane Racing Brand Bash. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. 200 miles, we're racing at the bumpy Daytona, as it were. Daytona 2007 with the 87 NASCAR cars. We'd love to have you out there racing with us. Once again, it's $30 for new members for the season, $20 for returning members and any Vidane Racing alumni that are going to be coming out with us. Green flag once again. That 3 car is gone here in the third heat race. It's Bobby Hutchins able to pull away by a lot and then some. Scott Negas holding on to second in the 55 car. Austin Jaron there in the third position in the 118. And everybody able to get single file here. Tyler Hallahan, the man of the hour, he's going to be P3. Great to see the Huggies car out there. There's Austin Cherion. He's P4 right now. Timing scoring catching up as we cross the line. Luke Cormier, Chris McKenna there, as well as Kyle Hines, Troy Burke, and Martin Landry. 9 drivers doing battle in this one. And doing battle they are indeed. As you can see, Chris McKenna trying to get down and around. Oh, up to the outside wall is the Mobile 1 car of Luke Cormier. Number 53 holds on to it, albeit going to lose a little bit of track position in that 5th position. Hallahan holding on to 3rd, but for how long? You can see Chris McKenna all over the back bumper, and he's bringing that 35 car up there with him. Up front, still about the same as we cross the stripe for 7 laps to go. Still chasing Bobby Hutchins in the number 3, the Negas machine. Number 55, though, closing in, has about a 0.2 of a second deficit that he's trying to make up. But they've got a long way to go to get back here to that battle for 3rd, being held by Tyler Hallahan in that number 3. Charon and McKinnon up in the mix here as well. 6 laps to go here at Bristol. Oh, trouble here. Just pulled off it. Big time trouble. Everything is broken on that 118 car. Going to pull down to the apron and call for the tow truck. That looks like it was a monster hit. Just pulled off the live shot. And we'll see if we can take a peek at it. Just a little bit of a tap, getting into the corners and just up into that outside wall. My goodness. Big, big, big hit for Austin Sharon. Going to have to piece that thing back together and, man, bring out the backup car or something for that Consi race, because that 118 car is junk. Big junk. We're going to rejoin the field here. 4 laps to go. They get the 4-finger wave from Barney up in the flag stand. Lights still on the iRacing pace car. Once again, got to thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon. Little iRacing action here. The 6th annual Tyler Hallahan, or Jim Hallahan rather, 333. As I'm looking at Tyler Hallahan holding on to the 3rd spot in the 33 car. Having ourselves an afternoon of racing. Handful of heat races, handful of consolation races, then the big 333 lap main event this afternoon. If you're hungry, shoot on over to VidaneTV/DoorDash. We'll hook you up with $8 off your first 4 orders. And we got to thank everybody out there watching. We're trying to take over the internet, as it were. That's how we do here at VidaneTV, entertaining the masses. We are, in fact, live all over the heckin' place. We're live on the VidaneTV YouTube. That's where the money's at. That's where all of our shows are on demand. Be sure to shoot on over there. Hit yourself a like button, a share button, and more importantly, that subscribe button. Because that'll let you know when we're live and when you'll be able to check out all these races on demand. 640 plus shows over the past 5 years over on VidaneTV, and we're going to have a whole lot more racing content, real racing content, as the 2026 calendar year progresses. Happy New Year, by the way. Everybody tuning in on the YouTube, the Twitch, the Twitter, the TikTok, the Facebook. We're on the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook as well as the VidaneTV Facebook. I've got them open on one of the screens here. It's chaos here in the booth, as it usually is. Green flag flies once again. Chaos in the back of the pack. It looks like they get it all sorted out, though. How about that? Mark Landry in the 20 car going for a ride, it seemed like, but he's going to be able to hold on to it. Troy Barker in the 01 gets it all sorted out. Chris McKenna slicing dicing his way in that 35 car. He's trying to get into that transfer spot, trying to get around the 53. Gave it just a little bit too much on the final lap. I don't think we're going to get a caution for that one. And I believe that's going to be the checkered flag for Bobby Hutchins. No, we are still green. there's the wreck. Not entirely sure what's happening because iRacing won't tell me. But I do believe that was the checkered flag. Bobby Hutchins going to finish in the number 1 spot. Scott Negus going to move into second. Tyler Hallahan third. Troy Burke in at P4. Everyone else going to have to race their way in to the consolation races. As I believe, speaking of consolation races, we are getting ready to line one of those up. And there you can see they are indeed populating themselves on the front straightaway. So 20 laps now on the board here for the consies. And according to the earlier measurements, depending on how many people we had in the field, it looks like we were going to be taking 4 from these consolation races. So that's what we're going to go with. Jake Goodwin going to roll off P1. Cameron Matty on the outside. Dave Horton, Nick Axworthy in row number 2. Nick McKay, Regan McCauley in row 3. Wyatt Peters, Brandon Langell, James DeVoe lined up now. That gives us 9 drivers. Looks like we're still waiting on the 84 of Curry Duke. Ethan Higgins, CJ Nickerson, and we do see the 28 car of Tim Terry listed. He did say he was going to turn some laps earlier on. I think I saw him out there in practice. I think he was like 89th in practice in that 28 car. It wasn't good. Yeah, he was slower than us in the production truck. We didn't even hook up the steering wheel. We're not sure what Tim's doing, but it doesn't look like he's going to be racing in this consolation race. He did pretty good in smashed potatoes though a couple weeks back. Had Bizzle on the VidaneTV Ocho covering that event. And we will say hi over in the chats, we promise. I got to figure out where I open them and where I put them. So if you're watching on the Facebook, on the YouTubes, on the Twitch, be sure to give us a shout. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for, who your favorite driver is, what your DoorDash order is, where your favorite. I actually ordered, I planned ahead, see? I knew I wasn't feeling well. So I knew I wasn't going to wake up in time. So I woke up late. But I DoorDashed Chinese food last night, and rather than getting the 1 meal, because I saved the $8, I was able to get 2 meals. So I woke up, had some General Tso's chicken for breakfast. It cleared the sinuses up just a little bit. But as you can probably tell, they are jam-packed once again. So riding the struggle bus just a little bit here in the production trailer, but we will overcome. We will entertain the masses as we do here on VidaneTV, because we've got just a little bit of downtime after the event. And the real racing doesn't really kick back off here for us until February. Waiting for some things to line back up, and Showtime will be back on the road, and you'll be able to follow along with all of my adventures over on the YouTube page. Started doing some YouTube shorts with the real racing stuff, all the different events that I've been shooting with the Speed Sport affiliates. But enough about me. More about this consolation race. Green flag flies for Jake Goodwin. Able to pull away front 4, 5, 6 cars. Able to get sorted out single file. And they are already fighting for that transfer spot. Dave Horton has it in the 73, but Regan McCauley, he wants it. 29 car had himself a bit of a heat race. Oh, having him set. That happened last time. We started talking about him, and as soon as we said his name, he lost control of the car. Didn't hit anything. Heads up driving from the 29 cockpit. Unfortunately, though, caution flag does not come out. We stay clean. We stay green. There's that smoke. We drive on through, and nobody's there. So the 24 car going to lead that lap, the first 2 laps here in this one. A little bit loose in the back of the car. He holds on to it. And you can see Cameron Matty right in behind him, trying a couple of different lines already. You can ask Alex Spinato, third-generation street stock driver. Easy enough for me to say. Holy moly. We'll get some oxygen into this brain, I swear. But you can ask Alex Spinato, third-generation street stock driver at Stafford Motor Speedway. Those bright chrome red wheels, yeah, that's like 5 horsepower apiece. Do not count Cameron Matty out. I think he's going to be a force to reckon with in this Consi race, as well as a big show. He's able to hold on to one of those transfer spots here. 15 laps on the docket. Going to find out who's going to be racing with us here after just a couple more of these Consi races. Picking him up, putting him down. Jake Goodwin pulling away by a little bit. Has himself about a half-second lead now over Cameron Matty. A little bit further on back to 62. Doesn't have too much going on around him. Has a little breathing room in front of and behind. You can see Wyatt Peters holding on to the transfer spot right now in that 33. Dave Horton sliding back just a little bit. And Brandon Lange a little bit further on back. There you can see the 29 of Regan McCauley getting on by the 37 there of James DeVoe. 10 laps to go here in the first Consi race. Back up front, though, still chasing that blacked out number 24 car coming to the stripe with 9 laps to go here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Once again, the 6th annual Jim Hallahan 333 on the docket here this afternoon. Make sure you order your snacks, your Zoom Zooms, your Wham Whams, and all your drinks here to get you through the 333 laps at the Last Great Coliseum. This place always puts on a heck of a show, especially with these drivers behind the wheels of these super late models. These are still, in my opinion, one of the most fun cars to drive and to call races for here in the iRacing sim. And man, oh man, have they come a long way since way back when, and what was it, 2008, I think, is when I made the jump over to iRacing. It would be season 3 of the Vidane Racing Super Speedway series, if anybody's at home keeping track. Handful of laps to go, just kind of sifting through the Facebooks and the YouTube chat, just trying to see who's watching. Dr. Race Chaser, Kyle Young, he's over there in the YouTubes. He's one of the guys that helped us get this VidaneTV thing off the ground way back when. Blaze 13, I think that's 13 late model, watching from Antigonish. Finished 3rd in this heat race. Joining the fans and the other drivers here as we come to the white flag in this first Consi race. Everybody getting it all sorted. And a lot of these drivers kind of taking this Consi race and using it as a bit of a test session. Drew Murphy, Brandon Campbell hanging out in the TCM Facebook chat. R.D. Miller over in the VidaneTV chat. He's a big Tim Terry fan. Folks watching all over the interwebs here as we take the checkered flag in that first Consi race. Jake Woodward going to finish in first. Cameron Matty, Nick Axworthy, and Dave Horton going to be the 4 drivers that transfer on in. Everybody else going to be watching here on VidaneTV, either from the infield or the shop or wherever they've got their smart device hooked up at. And that's the beauty of the YouTube here. You've got a great big smart TV hooked up in the shop or the living room or wherever you may be at. Pull that YouTube app up, do a quick search for VidaneTV, and you'll see that great big live red ring that you can click on and watch us pretty much anywhere you've got an internet connection, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. Consi race numero 2 lining up. There's that loud major Melon Mountain Dew number 29 car of Danny Vitch. He's going to roll off P1 with Troy Burke on his outside in the 01. Ricky Miller in behind him with Luke Cormier going to be in the second row. Ben Pelletier in the P5 spot. Chris McKinnon, Caleb Urquhart, Kyle Hines, the next 2 rows. Riley Frost, Austin Charon. Devin Laffin, Ryan Salvatore, Mike Alexander, and Garland Meadows listed in this one as well. Doesn't look like we're going to see those last 4 drivers. We saw Devin Laffin in the heat race earlier on. Ryan Salvatore, I know, he was practicing earlier on as well. I think they rolled out one of the backup cars, or maybe one of the racing experience cars for Salvatore to test out before he took over his duties as race control, doing the job that none of us really want to do, because nobody likes race control. Sorry, Sal. But in any sense, drivers rolling once again. Lights off of the iRacing pace car. Going to take these drivers around for a lap. Looks like 9 out there have made the call for this one. And once again, going with our previous math, top 4 going to be going on to the big show here this afternoon. And once again, got to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to give us the like, the share, the subscribe, all that good stuff, especially once we get ready to go feature racing here in due time. Crossing the stripe, everybody lined up 2 by 2. Once again, Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth, production truck, whatever you want to call it. A little bit under the weather, sick as a dog if you couldn't tell, but we're going to power on through. We've got us some monsters and some cold remedies. We're going to power on through this just like these drivers are powering on through, giving us just a bit of a show. And I do believe this is going to be the final consolation race. We might have one more. No, sir, this is the B main. So we'll get ourselves a little bit of a warm-up. We'll find out who's going to be running this deal. And then it's 333 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway. Pace car's off. And we are green. I'm not sure what happened with that 29 car. I don't know if he maybe started in a high gear, but not a good start for Danny Vitch. He's going to slide on back to third as Burke and Miller get down and away. Check that. That's Miller and McKenna that are pulling away now. There you can see the fourth place car of Riley Frost holding on to that transfer spot for the time being. But once again, 20 laps on the board. 18 of them to go, as we've already completed 2 laps. Monster ride of Ricky Miller holding on to the lead. Didn't quite have the heat race he was looking for, but man, oh man, that monster number 17 car out in clean air, looking pretty sporty. Ripping that thing on. You can see that last time by, he was kind of higher up the groove. That time he pulled it right on down to the left, got those tires right on that yellow line. Ricky Miller able to put that number 17 car pretty much where he wants it to go. Same story, it seems like, for Chris McKenna. Didn't quite have a good heat race. Kind of struggled towards the back just a little bit, but the RKM setup shop number 35 right on the back bumper of our leader, Ricky Miller, and that monster number 17, Danny Vitch. Saw that initial start where he fell on back to third, has himself a mirrorful of Riley Frost. Taking a peek down low in that number 32 car. Danny Vitch shuts the door, holds on to it. But there you can see 32 right back on the attack. Going to get up and clear to the door that time by. Enough room in 1 and 2 to get up bound. Is there enough room to slide on up? Not quite. Danny Vitch fighting back on the outside. Lost it just a little bit there. You can see not going to give up there. It's going to slide on into the tire tracks once again. So Danny Vitch still holding on to a transfer spot, P4, but dropping from the lead a handful of spots back, as we are coming out of 3 and 4 to 12 laps to go for Ricky Miller. And these long green flag runs that we've seen throughout the heat races and consi races, this just really shows how much drivers have been practicing for this event. This is one of the bigger prime events, prime cuts, as it were. One of the crown jewels, I think is the term that I was trying to not butcher, as Chris McKenna did a great job not butchering the wall up there. Lost a little momentum, but still on the attack there in P2. As we complete the lap, 10 laps to go. Check that, 9 laps to go last time by here in the B main. Ricky Miller holding on to the lead. He wants to make it into the show, as does that 35 car of Chris McKenna. Riley Frost in there as well. And it's a little bit further on back. We see that Major Mellon Mountain Dew car, the 29 of Danny Vitch. He's holding on to that transfer spot right now. But man, oh man, Luke Cormier right up in behind him in his tire tracks. He's got a little bit of time. He's got 8 laps, 7 laps to go. Has a couple of car lengths he's going to have to try and make up if he's going to race in the main event here tonight. If not, going to be tuning in with everybody else here on VidaneTV as we see the battle for second hiding up just a little bit. Chris McKenna very loose in the back end of that car. You saw it coming off of 4. A little bit loosey-goosey. I guess that was 2 last time by. We drive through the smoke. We're A-OK. Still green flag out. 32 down on the bottom. 35 up on the top. Sliding through turn 4 once again. That may work in these 20-lap short little consi races, but with this surface, you're really going to have to be careful with those tires. You don't want to slide the car around too much. Flat spot those things, because that is an absolute deal breaker here in the iRacing service. When you beat up the equipment doesn't usually tend to take care of you. But They are duking it out for that second position. Ricky Miller driving off into the sunset, has about 4 or 5 car lengths over this battle for second. McKenna's still holding on to it, but you can see the back end of the car just really doesn't want it. It seems like the back end of the car is upset. As you can see, the 32 of Frost going to dip down low once again. Able to close the distance getting in, but there's just a huge run that McKenna gets coming off the corners, and he's able to hold on to it. And what's wild is these two have been duking it out side by side. They've actually gained on the leader, Ricky Miller. So that's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the end of the show. But that's going to be the white flag, the white rag for this final Consi race, the B-main, as it were. Little triple threat action for that top spot. The 35 trying to take away. He gets up. He gets close enough to bump him. Just lets him know that he was there. A couple of more laps in that one. We might have had a different outcome. But this time, going to go to Ricky Miller. There's Ricky. Chris McKenna going to finish in second. Riley Hurst and Danny Mitch going to race their way into this one. And just like that, we shut the lights off. And we get ready to rock and roll for our main event of the evening coming up here on VidaneTV. You do not want to go anywhere because we will be right back with feature racing action. Don't go anywhere unless it's to order DoorDash. We'll be right back. Now, we told you we'd be back. We've got ourselves about 10.5 minutes or so for final practice for everybody that made the show, taking 34 in it this one. So pretty much anybody that raced the Constellation races are, in fact, in for the big show here tonight. We're going to let these guys duke it out in the final practice, figure out where their pit stalls are, figure out where their race cars are, and figure out where their psyches are at as well. And we will rejoin the booth here in 10 minutes' time for the Jim Hallahan at 3:33, the sixth time running here on VidaneTV. Everybody getting lined up once again on that start-finish line. Getting ready to do battle for 333 laps here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Ryan Messer going to start. Well, he's not going to start on the pole, because we do have the lineup all set through the consolation races. So we're going to take a look at the starting graphic, and we're going to see if it's going to lie to us. And it's not going to. How about that? Riley Duncan going to roll off P1. There's Stanton Woolridge on his outside. Row number 2 going to look a little something like this. James Pileski in that number 93 car going to roll off P3. Bobby Hutchins in the good wrench number 3, the Dale Ride, going to roll off P4. There's Ryan Messer back there, P5. Dylan Black on his outside. New color, new number. For the, used to be the 08, now in the 3. How about Ricky Arbo in the 61? And on his outside, the 55 car of Scott Negus. Rolling on through, there's Luke Shannon in the 13. Nikita Giroux. That is inaccurate. Timing and scoring is picking up random names and random numbers from the Oil Boys. Once again, not entirely sure why it's doing that. But we'll try and get to the end of that. There's Tyler Hallahan rolling off P11. Snowgrove in the 22S. P12. The rest of the grid goes through your screen here. And the lights are off on the iRacing pace car. See if they get another lap here, or if he's going to peel off. We understand a couple of those names are incorrect. We're going to have to deal with that this afternoon. Unfortunately, timing and scoring program that we use is kind of a third-party deal. So anytime they have an upgrade or update, or anytime iRacing has an update or something changes, usually gives us something to mess with. But pace car off, green flag flies. We are racing here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. The Jim Hallahan 333 has taken the green flag for the 6th time. And Riley Duncan able to pull away with a couple of car length lead over Tanton Woolridge there. Crossing the stripe, getting everybody kind of lined up where they were to start this deal. The front 6-7 cars, relatively single file as we complete lap number 2. These guys put on a heck of a race here for us throughout the heat races and the consolation races, and going to be something to behold here as James Pileski racks off the first quick lap of the race from P2. You can see he's all over the bumper now of Riley Duncan, our current leader. And they've got a little bit of a gap back to that third place ride of Tanton Woolridge in the 56. Pileski with another quick time, 368 in that bracket. We bump the heat up just a little bit. In the VidaneTV HQ, as it were. And again, we thank everybody for tuning in all over the place. We're live on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Give us the likes, the subscribes, the shares, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know that you are watching some Sunday afternoon racing. 29 drivers making the call here for the main event here. We've been qualifying or so for the past hour or so, and these drivers have been practicing all morning, all week really, for this big event. Been on the schedule for quite some time now, the 6th annual running of the Jim Hallahan 333. Crossing under the start-finish line, racking off another lap there for Riley Duncan in the 97 car. And you can see he's got James Pileski all over the back bumper of him, trying to do battle there. You can see the battle for 3rd. We talked about these guys earlier on as they fan out. The caution flag flies for the 47 car. We're going to see if this replay button works. We're going to give it a shot. U.S. Racing Designs Instant Replay. Ba-bow! 47 car was involved. There's the 29 we saw earlier on. Had a rough go of it in the heat race, but did okay in the consolation race, got in to the event. And we're going to focus in on that 47 car, because that's the one that was, in fact, involved in this. Went back just a little bit far in the U.S. Racing Designs Instant Replay, but that's okay. Getting into the corner there you see 62 just gives him a little bit of a whoopsie. Sends him on around. Leaves his eye on the sky. Ryan Salvatore from the NEP, from Marcel TV, throws the caution here. Everybody else gets on by scot-free. So the 25, or the 47 rather, going to head back towards the end of the field there in the 47. Has a little bit of time. It's still very early in a long event, and the lights are still on in the iRacing pace car, so good news there. And the lights are off the iRacing pace car. We're lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, getting ready to do battle once again. 10 laps down and a long way to go this Sunday afternoon. We want to thank you for joining us, inviting us rather into your shop, your home, or your living room, wherever you might be watching here on VidaneTV. We thank you. Shoot on over to that YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. We got a lot of cool stuff going on in the iRacing world here in 2026, as we do in the real racing world. Green flag flies once again. Another great start for Duncan in that 97 car. Hard to beat in these super late models is Riley Duncan. James Valesky very quick there in the 93 as well. Front two able to break away. We started talking about these guys back in third and fourth. They were fighting it out for that RBR Season 7 championship. Tinton Woldridge there in the 56, P3, P4. Ryan Messer in the number 1 car. Messer will be racing again this Thursday night with the NAP race on Thursday. Those guys getting into the second half of their season. Once we get into the cold winter months, going to be racing all the way through March, as are the Oil Boys I Late Model National Series on Tuesday nights. The Liberty Racing League coming back to us for a handful of races. Not all of them. I've got a couple of them I'll be behind the wheel for. Going to be running that 4th race of the season, the Vidane Racing Super Speedway League 20th anniversary race. Going to be at Daytona. That's going to be January 27th. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Going to dust off the old wheel for that one. Going to bring out the 94B test car. The only paint scheme I ever got a league race win was with that number 94, all matte black with duct tape numbers and a bright green spoiler for some reason. Cutting Edge Motorsports reunion with old Garland Meadows and Brian Bliss. And we're going to see what we can do on the super speedways one last time. Maybe not even a last time, but we're going to see what we can do, at least in the month of January. Then February, we pick up the real racing stuff, heading down south for some Legends car racing, a little bit dirt racing there as well. So the real racing season never seems to go away in the south. It stays a little bit warmer than it is here. Further on back, racing for about 12th or 15th, there's Tyler Hallahan in the 33. Bright orange ride. He's got a mirror full of that battle for 13th. O'Neill and Cassidy kind of going back and forth. Cassidy going to give the spot up for the time being. Going to tuck into the tire track, see if he can't learn a thing or two from the drivers up in front. And solid drivers meeting from Tim Terry. Was able to listen in on bits and pieces of it before we came back to the booth here as we kind of cycled through the top 10 going backwards. So you see Noel Fugier holding on to 8th. He's got Avery DeCosta right in front of him in that 13 car. Going to slide up just a little bit, open the door for Fugier down on the bottom side in that 36 car. Oh, they touched just a little bit. No harm, no foul. The door's still barely open. Fugier going to stick it on in and try and take that spot up into the outside wall. Gives it just a little bit of a tap, 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 and tucks back into the tire tracks of the 13 car for the time being. That's the first side-by-side battle. We've got the front 6 cars relatively single file. Driving up underneath your shot there, Riley Duncan, James Valesky, Tinton Woldridge, Ryan Messer, and Bobby Hutchings. The current top 5. Ricky Arbeau currently in 6th. Avery DeCosta, Noel Fugier, Dylan Black, and Nick Axworthy, the current top 10. 29 starters here tonight. 28 of them still on the racetrack. Ben Peltier, 5 laps down. The 47 of Kyle Hines after that earlier incident is parked in the garage area. All the other 27 drivers are on the lead lap, and they are duking it out for that final spot. There you see the 17 having some issues as the yellow flag flies for a big one. Hey, there's a tire. Whose tire is that? Great camera work by our crew. Not actual camera crew, but you know how it gets down. Take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Find out exactly what went down. We're going to look at it from the drone cam. We're just following along Fougere in that 36 car, the 13 there as well. They get a little bit of contact. Oh, man, the 13 just gets into the corner panel and completely destroys the 36 front end. That's where the tire came off. You can see going across the logo there, rolling up onto the Bass Pro Shops logo, and a lot of drivers not able to get through that one. It is difficult to go where the wreck is here at Bristol Motor Speedway and try and get on through it, as when you get the racing groove blocked up like that, it is unfortunate. So caution flag going to fly. Here in this one, they see the 13 down on pit road. Lots of smoke pouring out of the 36 of Fougere. They're going to try and get those things worked on. There's the 29 car as well. There's the 55 going to try and get some work on the Negus ride. There's Cassidy in the Budweiser car back there. I believe that's the 16 or the 18. So a handful of drivers getting some virtual sheet metal damage on this one. Drivers still going to be chasing the leader, Riley Duncan, up in the front. James Pileski second, Woldridge, Messler, and Hutchings the top five as they run. We made mention we're going to try and follow along with the chat throughout the afternoon here. Lots of different things going on. We got the Facebook chat open over on Tim's Corner Motorsports, VidaneTV as well. Handful of drivers popping in over on the YouTube. And one of the cool things here at VidaneTV, a driver that may or may not have made the race, or maybe they were watching at home, they'll jump in the chat as well, kind of tell you how the car was handling and stuff like that. SC Austin jumping on as a subscriber over on the YouTube. Appreciate that. That's where you get all the shows, folks. That's where you get them. 650 live shows we've had the past 5 years here at VidaneTV. Been a hell of a ride. And when I tell you 2026 is going to be the most interesting calendar year I think we've ever had under the Vidane Racing brand, I can tell you, whole honesty, it is going to be crazy. Lots of cool real racing content getting added on. Other sports getting thrown into the mix as well. Pace car going to dip down to the safety of pit road. We're going to take the green flag once again here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, as it were. Great start for Duncan in the 97. Pileski was there, right up to the back bumper. Lost a little bit of ground, looked in the rearview mirror, saw that side-by-side battle for third. Tanton Woldridge down on the bottom side. Ryan Messer in that one car up top. And they are duking it out here for the top five in this one early on. Ricky Arbeau moving into the top five as well. The number 61, Bobby Hutchins sliding back just a little bit. Dylan Black, Brandon O'Neill, Riley Frost, and Greg Snellgrove, the top 10 as they run. Everybody still chasing down that 97 car of Riley Duncan. And really the only car I've seen that's been able to kind of match that 97 is that 93 of Pileski. But we also do, in fact, see we've got a new third-place driver, Ryan Messler, able to get around Tanton Woldridge in the 56. And that is a dangerous, dangerous spot to be in if you're anybody up in front of that one car. Ryan Messler turns a lot of laps in these super late models on the simulator, turns a lot of laps in real life, and runs a lot of leagues, wins a lot of leagues here on VidaneTV. That's why we call him the Iron Man here around these parts. And that's not to say that that Riley Duncan, James Pileski, and Tanton Woldridge and Ricky Arbeau, those are all names that we've seen all throughout the past 5-6 years here in Tim's Corner Motorsports and VidaneTV. So cream rising to the top, as it were. Less than 300 laps to go, 298 to be exact, that time by when they waved up to Barney in the flag stand, and Barney waved on by with 298 fingers. He didn't actually do that. That's too many fingers for one person to have. Come on now. Let's be real. Riley Duncan leading them all so far. James Pileski, I would say, is probably taking it easy early on at this point. He's kind of doing his homework, seeing where that 97 is quick, where he's a little bit slower, where he's going to be able to try and pass him later on in this one. Because you can see Pileski has just a little bit cleaner of a line. You can see the 97 gets into the corner. He's up by about a half a car width, maybe a car width getting in. He's a little bit lower that time by. But Pileski in the 93 is just really able to set that car down on the bottom of the racetrack and kind of put it where it needs to go. We'll do a little onboard here with James Pileski, and it's always great to see kind of how these drivers do it. You can hear just way off the throttle, really letting it coast down on the bottom side. Not jamming it back in either, as he's going to take a shot for the lead here this time by going to get down side by side for the first time in a bit. And you can see just really trying to put on a show here for us on VidaneTV, really getting around solid apex all the way around the bottom of the racetrack. And you can see he's turning left a lot earlier than Duncan is in that 97. So you got to wonder if that's kind of saving some tire later on in this one. We've got a couple of sets of tires down on pit road. The incident cap, I believe, was at 34, right around there. And haven't really had too many incidents, especially up in the top half, three-quarters of the field. Couple of issues towards the back, but we've gotten it all sorted out here. You can see there on your shot, front 10 have pretty much pulled away right outside looking in. How about the 29 car? We got to quit talking about Regan here because every time we talk about him, he's wrecked in the heat race and the Conti race. So we're going to quickly mention he's running 11th right now and move on back. Tyler Hallahan in the 333 is there in the 12th spot. Danny Vitch in the Major Melon Mountain Dew ride. He's in the mix in the hunt as well. Austin Sharon, the 118. Driving on through Dave Horton, Chris McKenna, Luke Cormier back here in this Hornet's Nest. Everybody trying to put on a show here for us on VidaneTV. Jake Goodwin got his way in that 24 car. Negus in the 55, struggled in the heat race. You can see he's got a little damage on the front right of that 55 car, but still holding on to the lead lap. Oh, Horton pointed in the wrong direction. Caution flag going to fly here in the 73 Petro Canada car. 288 laps to go as we take a peek here at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. And the timing's still a little off, and the framing's a little off on the replay button, but the replay button seems to be working. So that's a welcome change. Focus in on this Petro Canada car, the number 13. Check that, the number 73, as it were. A little bit of a checkup with Hallahan and Vitch, but everything okay. Gets a little tight. Oh, you see the 73 just loses the back end of the race car. Gets on down, tap, tap, tap. The inside safer barrier. Grabs the gear, gets rolling again. And in comes the 73 to get some service. Handful of drivers down on pit road as well. Send Greg Snellgrove. Easy enough for me to say. There's Cassidy in the 15, the 20 car down there, the 22. 13 down there as well. Negus going to get some service in the 55 on the other end of pit road, as is Danny Vitch, the Major Melon Mountain Dew number 29 car. Everybody else staying out, it looks like, here on 50-lap old tires. So, seen a lot of different styles of racing here in these late models. And one of the things to keep in mind is the pit crews aren't quite as quick as some of the truck teams or the cup teams. So, the four-tire stops not all that popular here in the late model division, because if you do that, you end up going down a lap. It takes so long to get four tires on. So in many cases, you'll see a driver come down, take two tires, and come down the next time by, top up with Sunoco race fuel, throw those other two tires back on, or they'll even do it under another caution, depending on how it goes. But the front 12 all stayed out. Jake Goodwin, first car off pit road in the 24 car, P13. Looks like a fuel-only stop for them. And looking at the stop times, it looked like everybody took four tires. So, going to be interesting. There's some heavy hitters back there with some fresher tires. We got some heavy hitters up front with a little bit older tires, but there's a lot of experience up here in the top 10. Everybody piled in behind the pace car here. James Pileski holding on to the lead. Looks like he's going to, or check that, the 97 car holding on to the lead. He's going to restart down the bottom side. Pileski up top. Canton Wolders, Ryan Messer, Rick Arbo, the top 5. Bobby Hutchins, Regan McCauley up into the top 10. Dylan Black Tyler Hallahan, Austin Sharon, Nick McKay in the mix as well. Green flag flies, 283 to go here at the virtual Coliseum, and a great start there for Pileski. Gets down to the bottom side and gets tapped. Still green in this one. That 93 car looks like it might be just a little bit cattywampus. You can see, you can almost hear the frustration through the windshield. Slamming on to the steering wheel. James Pileski restarted second all the way down to P21. Little door handle to door handle action with Riley Duncan. Duncan holds on to it. Now he's got a new challenger has appeared. Ryan Messer in the one. New P2 driver, Tan Woldergen behind him. Bobby Hutchins, Rick Arbeau, the top five as they run. And you can see Messer once again, just like Pileski, able to get up to the back bumper of the 97, but not quite able to get around him as the caution flag flies once again. Looks like we might have had a little issue with that 73 car, but we'll take a peek at it here in the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. The Gaggle cars back here just outside the top 10. You see Danovich in the 29. There's the 55 Anigas. Crossing the start-finish line, everything looking A-OK, getting into turn one, where the issue may or may not have been. And there you see it. 17 of the quarter panel to 55. Pileski right there as well. He gets a piece of the action. Does he get that thing slowed and woed? There's just nowhere to go for Pileski. That is a tough spot to be in. So you can see everybody involved there going to come down pit road, it looks like. Handful of drivers up front going to come down at pit road as well. Leader is on pit road. Pileski stays out. Pileski comes down pit road as well. Ryan Messer inherits the lead in the number one car. Tyler Hallahan in second. Ricky Arbeau right in front of him. He is P2. 118 of Austin Sharon going to be P4. James DeVoe now in the top five. Jake Goodwin in at P6. He was the driver that came down for fuel only about 10 laps ago. And Nick McKay in the 011 is out there on the original 57-lap tires. Greg Snellgrove, P8. Riley Frost, Danny Vitch up into the top 10. First driver pitting this time, Riley Duncan pitting from the lead. Going to come out P11. And we look even further on back in the pack. James Pileski in the 93. There might be some damage on that guy. It's a good-looking paint scheme. 93. You can see the right side of the hood kind of jammed up just a little bit as he rejoins the tail of the field. 21 cars on the lead lap as Dave Cassidy appears to have gotten the wave by that time by. With 29 drivers start this one. 22, 23, 24 still up in it. As they get doubled up behind the pace car. Lights out. Coming to green. Pace car is down. Ryan Messer with a beautiful start in that one car, able to pull away by a couple of car lengths. Great run from the 33 of Hallahan down on the bottom side, trying to get around Arbeau in the 61 car. Duking it out for P2 as Ryan Messer drives off into the sunset. Hallahan dropping back a handful of spots, going to find himself in P3, P4, check that. Ricky Arbeau going to hold on to second. He's going to try and set his crosshairs on that leader of Ryan Messer, but he's already out front by 0.8 of a second. Messer's gone, driving off into the sunset, as it were. Second place there, Ricky Arbeau, Austin Sharon there in third. Tyler Hallahan, we made mention, running P4. James DeVoe, 37 car, rounding out the top five as they run. Good run for the 24 of Jake Goodwin. We saw him come down under the second to last caution about 14 laps ago. Took fuel only on the 24 car. He's up in the top 10, battling out, trying to get a top 5 spot. A little side-by-side action in behind him. Riley Duncan moving and grooving with those fresh tires on the 97 car. 12-second pit stop, so it looks like it might have been right side only for the 27. You can see they're side-by-side in front of him between the 22 and the 24. Trying to get around Jake Goodwin, trying to get around Greg Snellgrove as well. Great run for Snellgrove. He's moved himself up almost into the top 5 in that 22 car. And Riley Duncan, he's going to take it 3 wide. Woo, that almost didn't work, but they made it work. Goodness. Gets it all sorted out. Oh, the 22 is Snellgrove up on the outside wall. We'll lose a whole bunch of spots. We stay clean and green. Snellgrove going to drop at least 10 spots down into the 15th spot. Regan McCauley having a solid run, the 29 car. Not going to talk about him too much. There he is. He's having a good run. Pileski muscling his way up, saying hello to the driver of the 37 car of James DeVoe. DeVoe headed backwards. Pileski headed forwards. Danny Vitch into the back bumper of the 37. Danny Vitch is around as well. That's going to bring out the yellow flag here with 2:67 to go. And we'll pull out the U-House Racing Designs instant replay here on VidaneTV. Shout out to U-House Racing Designs, sponsoring the replay for the 3rd year in a row. And we'll take a look at it from the drone shot here. Shout out to Sarge, one of the best drone ops in the short track racing world. There's McCauley in the 29. And there you see, it looked like the 37 just got a little bit loose. And Danny Vitch was just back on the throttle coming off of turn 4. Gonna call that a racing deal this early on. Probably could have had a little room from either driver, but getting a little antsy. It's early on. It's a big show. We're live on VidaneTV, so we'll give these guys the benefit of the doubt. We know they're trying to entertain the masses here. Easy Cassidy going to come down pit road, not having the night, the afternoon that he wants to in that 15 Bud car. Danny Vitch, the Major Mountain Dew ride. He's going to come get some service on that thing. Nick McKay in the 11. I think that's a Penguin on the side of that car. Haven't talked about that car all night so far, but having a solid top 15 run. And back out front, Ryan Messner in the 1 car on lap 69, having himself a nice lead. Arbo, Duncan, Goodwin, and Woldridge, the top 5. And just looking at it, Messner and Arbo, the top 2 drivers, have not come down pit road yet. The guy in 3rd has indeed, but it was only a 12-second pit stop, so I believe it's only 2 tires on the 97 car. But still, was able to drive up through the field and capture one of those top 5 spots. Live all over the internet, as it were. Dr. Race Chaser chiming in over on YouTube. Great to see Kyle Young checking us out. We wouldn't be here at VidaneTV if Kyle Young didn't join the ranks back in the day. Called a bunch of races. Going to call a bunch more races here for us. And got some cool stuff going on with Dr. Race Chaser. So be sure to shoot him a like and subscribe on all the social media outlets. A couple of drivers jumping on in. 3rd place finisher from the heat race, place 13, hopping on into the chat. Ty's in the Facebook chat. Ty McQuarrie. I probably jacked that up. Brandon Campbell always hanging out in the shadows, lurking, as it were, when he's not banned on Facebook. Drew Murphy hanging out in the chat with us as well. R.D. Miller, big Tim Terry fan. Ryan Myers over there. He's a Miller fan. Big fans over the internet. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, especially over on the YouTube page. Helps us out in a big way. We got some cool stuff coming up on that YouTube page as well. Sim racing, real racing, a little bit of wrestling. We might do some hockey. But you gotta tune in. You gotta tune in. I'm not gonna give away all the secrets here live on VidaneTV, but we'll give a couple of hints. Green flag flying once again. Ryan Messner not able to pull away this time. He's got himself a bit of a dogfight there in behind. Ricky Arbo showing that he has showed up to fight in that 61 car, holding on to the 2nd spot. Now Riley Duncan going to move into 3rd. Jake Goodwin having a great run in that 24 car, but don't look now. James Pileski is there. He just got around Tanton Woldridge. That's not an easy thing to do, to just pass Tanton Woldridge on the high side And there you see Pileski just did it. He has a little bit of damage from driving up through the field on that 93 car, but he is making it work for him. Gets low on the 24 car, driving off into the sunset. Pileski P4. He's going to be hunting for one of those podium spots here in short order. Tanton Woolridge going to dip down below the 24 of Goodwin to see if he can try and follow that 93 car on through. The 3 car right in behind there as well. Bobby Hutchins having a solid run. Dylan Black there. Regan McCauley up into the top 10. Riley Frost. Oh, no, the 3 car up and almost over T Kettle, but Bobby Hutchins just made mention. Solid run in that Goodwrench car. Up into the outside fence. Going to bring out the caution run flag once again here on lap 77. Gives us an opportunity to take a peek at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Solid drone work, dipping in behind the giant screen in our way. There we go. We at least catch the wreck. I always got frustrated with that in the iRacing world. You have a cool camera shot and there's something in the way, but then I started shooting race cars for real and realized that's actually pretty realistic. Yep, drone's going to dip in behind here, and we see nothing. Ta-da! Still wrecked. So, things okay in that one. There you see, down on pit road with our leader. Right in behind him, Ryan Messler going to come down pit road. There's that gigantic screen again. Great to have that right in the middle of our shot. You saw the right sides were jacked up on the number 1 car. And as we do some crazy little moves just to hold on to this one shot of what we're looking at, that was the left sides of the car. So 4 tires for Messler, 4 tires for the second place driver there as well. Ricky Arbo driving on off. That screen is just, you ever get mad at an inanimate object for no reason? It's me right now, that big screen. It's in the way. Get that thing out of there. But in any sense, I digress. New leader. Returning leader, I should say. Riley Duncan, 97 car. James Pileski, new P2. This is going to be an interesting restart. Pileski is very strong on restarts. He's very strong on that high side. So we'll see what Duncan wants to do here on the restart, whether he takes the low or the top side. Dylan Black, P3. Regan McCauley up to 4th. Riley Frost, P5. Greg Snellgrove. Brandon O'Neill, Luke Cormier, Austin Sharon, Tyler Hallahan, the top 10 as they run. Tanton Woolridge, first driver off pit road. Looks like everybody came down this time, took 4 tires. And that includes Ricky Arbo, Ryan Messer, Scott Negus, Chris McKenna, Ricky Miller, Dave Cassidy, and Danny Vitch. Nick McKay came down 10 laps ago to get some tires. 24, a good bout, just came down for 4 fresh tires. James DeVoe, Bobby Hutchins involved in that wreck, albeit 2 laps down, 1 lap down, 2 laps down for Martin Landry. So 21 drivers still on the lead lap of the 29 that took the green flag here in the main event of the afternoon. Crazy to think that this is the 6th running now of the Hallahan 333, the virtual Coliseum, the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Lights off, 1 to green. Lights off, corner to green. Pace car going to go down to the safety of pit road. We're green flag racing once again. Great start there by the 97 of Duncan. James Pileski, though, going to try and make that high side work for him. He's going to go all the way around the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Heading on into 3 and 4. They are dead heat in 3 and 4. You'll see that big run. Pileski, he doesn't actually get a huge run up on the high side. So Duncan making it work down on the bottom side. A lot of times once we get deeper into these races, we'll see that rubber groove kind of get laid out up on the higher side, and we'll start to see that high side make a little magic happen. Pileski trying to do what he can on that high side. They've got to match tires. Duncan came down 27 laps to go, but it looks like he, in fact, took 2 tires, where Pileski took 4 tires under that pit stop. But I think with as many caution laps as we've had, that's going to even the temperatures out just a bit. But that could be wrong. There is a reason I'm in the booth yelling in the microphone and not behind the wheel of one of these super late models, because let's be real, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. We do apologize. We're still struggling for some reason. The third-party scoring service that we use here with VidaneTV, it's pulling names from another league that we broadcast here on VidaneTV. So a couple of the names are mismatching with the numbers. We can tell you the numbers are accurate, and all the information with each driver is accurate. The only thing that's inaccurate, unfortunately, is the name. There you can see Makita Giroux showing in the 36 car showing out. That's all accurate except for the name. That's going to be the 36 car of Fougères. So I'm going to write another angry letter to figure out what the heck is going on with that. One guy not writing an angry letter is going to be Riley Duncan. He is starting to pull away from James Bolesky, which is something we haven't said or done all afternoon long. And you see the 97 is kind of drifting up the racetrack by a lot. He's running that middle to high groove in the 97. James Bolesky kind of sticking down on the bottom side. Let's ride on board with the 93 car. A little smoke. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. You can see there's a bit of a glare as the sun cooks off of the short track here. Little half-mile bull ring, as it were. Bolesky holding on to that second spot. Regan McCauley up to third. Drives around Riley Frost easily on the outside. That 29 car is hooked up after coming down, grabbing some tires. This time by Ricky Arbo trying to make some moves as well. Dan Woldridge in the mix, the 56 car. He's trying to get back up onto that podium. As they're just kind of duking it out here for fourth place on back, third place on back. Regan McCauley all the way up on the high side, trying to make the magic happen. A little loosey-goosey there coming out of turn number 4, but he holds on to it. Has a little side-by-side action in behind him. Ricky Arbo, Dan Woldridge, Riley Frost all duking it out for position. Ryan Messer back there as well, trying to drive his way up after taking 4 tires under that last caution. And he's driven himself back into the top 10, trying to get back into the top 5. And look who he's right behind, Dan Woldridge, at 1 in the 56. Almost always around each other on the racetrack, putting on some great action, as it were. Lap car coming off a pit road, getting some damage taken care of. '29 car gets a little bit loose. Regan McCauley going to drop back a handful of spots, but he's going to hold on to the top 6. Riley Frost gets on by. Loosen the handling just a little bit. Dylan Black going to try and get around there as well on the high side. So problems for the 29 might just be backing off. It is a long race, 239 laps to go, 333 total. Just about at the 100 lap mark, 96 to be exact. Dylan Black on the high side able to complete the pass on Austin Cherion. The 118 going to try and fight back now on the bottom side. Everybody up front in the top 6, relatively single file. And everybody pretty much spread out throughout the racetrack here. Is the 118 going to take another shot down on the bottom side of Dylan Black? Does he have enough to try and slide on up? Indeed he does, but he's going to stay down on the bottom side. So side-by-side action in behind them as well. Just as quick as we saw it, it is gone. Snellgrove with the 23 having himself a solid recovery as we're getting squirrely for the second place and even the lead. Well, just kidding. The leader's gone. He's 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 seconds in front of these guys. Riley Duncan has checked out. Looking at the battle for second right now. Ricky Arbo holding on to it. A little slide there in the back of that 61 car. Dan Woldridge made his way up to P3. Ryan Messer there with him as well. James Bolesky still in the top 5, but it looks like he's dropped back just a little bit. Woldridge going to take a peek down the bottom side and see if he can't kick down the door for second, as they were side-by-side at the line, still side-by-side as they get into 1 and then come out of 2. Dan Woldridge a bit of the advantage, and he's going to have enough to try and complete the pass on Riley Duncan for P2. Going to slide on up and now set his sights on the leader, Riley Duncan. He's got a long road to hoe, though. 1.8 seconds the gap between first and second. Riley Duncan driving off into the sunset as we complete our first 100 laps here. .103 to be exact. So we're just about at the 1/3 marker of the show here this afternoon. Took about an hour to qualify into this one. Had some qualifying, lined everybody up in heat races, and well, we'll get back to that because the caution flag flies out. The 58 car is broken. Yep, that is not good. That's looking like Mick Foley after he fell through the cage with his tooth. Tires popping right up, but that thing is junk. There's something scraping underneath there as well. You see sparks flying out. Take a peek at the old U-House Racing U-House Racing Designs instant replay. That was a little bit further on back because the incident already happened. looks like the 58 may have been checking up here for the event. So 53 gets into the back there. You know, it's tough to tell. After midnight, we got a lot going on. There's a 58. It does look like he checks a bit. Gets a little bit of a nudge from the 53 up to the outside wall. That's what breaks him. 53 gets another nudge. He hits the 35. That's why we saw the 35 car pointing in the wrong direction. It looks like if there was anything up here, it kind of cleared itself out. So tough break for the 58 car. The AC's still down on pit road. The 24 of Goodwin going to come in. The 20. There's Cassidy in the 15. There's Negus in the 55. Hallahan down on pit road. No, Hallahan stays out that time by. AC Danny Vitch going to come down and get service in the Major Melon Mountain 2 number 29 ride. Dylan Black going to get some service. The left side's getting jacked up on the old 3 car. Negus in the 55 back there as well. Riley Duncan still holding on to the lead. 10 Woolridge, Ricky Arbo, Ryan Messer, and Austin Sharon going to be the top 5 as they run. Snellgrove, P6. Hallahan having a solid top 10 run in 7th. McKay, Frost, and Hutchins, the top 5. Looks like Riley Frost going to be the first driver off pit road. And with a 10-second pit stop, I'm going to say that's probably 2 tires. First driver with 4 tires is going to be Dylan Black in P10. Bobby Hutchins giving up his top 10 spot. He's going to come down and get some sneakers on that thing. Pileski just came down. 2 tires for the 93. 2 tires for Regan McCauley. And the just outside the top 10. As we get these drivers lined up where they should be. And there we have it. 1 to go. Going to line them up 2 by 2 all the way through. Riley Duncan, familiar leader in this one. Going to restart down on the bottom side. Tanton Woolridge, Ricky Arbo, Ryan Messer, and Austin Sharon going to restart in the top 5. Green. Riley Duncan able to pull away by just a little bit, but Tanton Woolridge is there on the back straightaway. Still trying to do what he can here early on these restarts. Knows that he has to get there before Duncan's able to pull away. He got about almost 2 seconds of a lead out front in that 97 car. Very quick here in the super late models at Bristol Motor Speedway. There you can see Ricky Arbo holding on to third. Ryan Messer in his tire tracks. Greg Snellgrove, rather. Easy enough for me to say. He's holding on to 5th, and he doesn't have too much of a challenge just yet, but he does have some challenging drivers back there. Austin Sharon is there. Riley Frost is up in the mix. A little side-by-side action between the 33 and the 35. Hallahan and McKenna swapping spots. James Pileski, Ricky Miller. A couple of quick cars there. Pileski driving his way through the field. That 93 car with fresh tires is dangerous for the rest of the field. Pileski doing a great job driving through the field once again. He's probably passed the most cars here so far this afternoon. Snellgrove having some issues in the 22, gathers it back up. 35 shuts the door, slams the door on the 93 car of Pileski. Little side-by-side action a little further up. Ryan Messer going to slide into P3, gets down and around Ricky Arbo. Goodwin in the 24 gets around the 17 of Ricky Miller. Danny Vitch going to try and follow on through with those fresher tires in the 29 car. Duking it out just outside the top 10. You see Ryan Messer trying to see where those top 2 drivers are. It's about a strength, the full straightaway that Duncan and Woolridge have been able to pull apart at almost a full second now over third place Riley Duncan. And there is your battle for third, albeit not all that heated of a battle at the time being. Messer holding on to it. Arbo is there. These guys, though, they're trying to figure it out. James Pileski gets around for 5th. He's starting to drive away from these cats as the 118 holding on to the P6 spot. Under challenge from the 35. Gets up in there, gets a little bit of a tap. The 35 gets down and around. Doesn't hit anything off of the groove and is going to back into the racing groove. Eye in the sky. Ryan Salvatore did a great job keeping an eye on that one as we stay green. And that's tough. Going to lose a lap the hard way as Riley Duncan comes on around. Tanton Woldridge in tow. The next car in front of these guys is going to be that 35 car. So has to get moving relatively quickly if he's going to stay on the lead lap. And you can see Tanton Woldridge taking a peek down on the bottom side in that 56 car, trying to get around and lead him some laps here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. And they've got a little bit of time to do that battle, as they've got about a second lead over Messer. There you can see the distance as Woldridge took a peek that time down low and off in the distance. Tanton already sees that green and pink machine coming. Valesky very, very quick in the 93 car. Driven through the field a couple of times, as has Tanton, as has Ryan Messer. And I feel like Riley Duncan's led all the laps here. He's led a whole bunch of laps so far, and little gaggle of cars back here for basically the second half of the top 10. Doing some battle, but the top two just having themselves a bit of a dogfight. New third place driver, Pileski, able to get around Ryan Messer. Messer on older tires. Keep in mind, Pileski's on fresher tires. He came down about 15, maybe 17 laps ago or so, and was able to put four tires rather, on that thing. As we take a peek at Riley Frost, Regan McCauley, Austin Sharon, 9th, 10th, and 11th on screen right now. Side-by-side action as they keep up with it. Great run for Regan McCauley. Going to hold on to 9th over Riley Frost. Danny Vitch in the top 10 as well. Seen him up and down. A little bit of damage on the 29 Major Mountain Dew car, but holding on to it. P8. Jake Goodwin right up in front of him. Came down. Looks like he got 4 fresh tires under that last caution there as well. So a little bit of pit strategy for the 24 car seems to be working. Dylan Black in front of him. Seen him kind of all over the place. Ricky Arbo holding on to that 5th spot as Ryan Messer able to pull away, but up towards the lead. Lap traffic involving that one. We're gonna keep an eye on this one because that pass wasn't quite completed. I think Tanton Woldridge might have led that last lap. Didn't quite get it all the way though. Not able to close up the gap, drift on up to get that position 100%. You can see going to tuck back into the tire tracks of Duncan once again. And that little duel has brought Pileski right up into this fight. It is now a triple threat fight for that lead spot. Ryan Messer is a little bit further on back. See him right there in the picture. So he's seeing this out his windshield, and he wants to see a couple of lap cars get involved as well so he can try and close that gap on up. Doesn't necessarily want to see the caution to bring everybody back down to speed, but there you see they're going to be coming up on some lap traffic here in a big way. 204 laps to go, 203 once we cross the stripe. Pileski going to go down low on Tanton Woldridge, take that second position over, slide on up in front of Woldridge into that number 2 spot. Woldridge going to elect to take the high side around and see if he can make it work. Nope, he's going to tuck back into the tire tracks. I think he saw that lap traffic up ahead, and they're going to try and not necessarily get through it together, but they're going to do their best to get around the lap traffic and then kind of sort it out themselves. AC Negus in the 55 car going to shoot up to the high side. He's got some damage on that ride. Not quite the night Negus was looking for, but a hell of a fight earlier on in this one. See, the 97 has kind of drifted up the track just a little bit. It's been 78 laps since he came down to get some tires. Pileski came down 28 laps ago to get 4 tires. And Tanton Woldridge came down 56 laps ago and took 2 tires. So you can see this far into a run, it almost evens the tire wear out just a little bit. And you're kind of stuck with whatever you've got here at this point. And you can see Pileski was able to rip through the field, get up to P2, and almost plateau. It almost like it got to the point where he stalled out just a little bit. Might have cooked the tires just enough, because there you saw Tanton Woldridge was able to get down and around Pileski in a big way. Pileski almost took a nose down to the bottom side to see if he can maybe cross back over in front of him, but thought a little bit better of it. Tucked into the tire tracks for the time being. There you can see the 17 car going a lap down to our leader, Riley Duncan. Woldridge, pardon me, Woldridge's going to roll around the outside, as is Pileski. Another one bites the dust. It's going to be Ricky Miller in the 17 car going a lap down. There's the 11 car, Nick McKay. Just going down a second lap, coming off a pit road there. So 16 drivers on the lead lap, 196, 195 laps to go once we hit the stripe. They're all still chasing Riley Duncan. Class of the field in that 97 car so far here tonight, working lap 139, going to cross the stripe for lap 140. As heavy lap traffic now in front of our leader. Let's ride on board and see just how Riley Duncan is going to handle this traffic. You can see they're relatively spaced out evenly up in front. There's that little bit of sun glare. They're a little side by side. You can see how squirrely this thing's getting on 84 lap old tires as well. Keep in mind the last time the 97 came down pit road, it was only for 2 tires. Oh, there's the 3 car. A little bit loosey-goosey. But he is going to hold on to it, and he's going to hold on to that lead lap for another day as the caution flag is going to fly. That's going to be interesting for pit stops in a big way, but we'll back up to U-House Racing Design's instant replay. Take a peek. It says it might be something to do with the 55 car. You can see some big-time damage on the Negus ride. Up on the outside wall, looked okay there. Puff of smoke on the left-hand side of the screen. And it's just going to kind of tease us. But in any sense, Negan going to come down pit road. A lot of drivers down on pit road here. Getting closer to the halfway point. Not quite there just yet. But having ourselves a heck of a run here. You can see a lot of drivers taking 2 tires, 4 tires all the way through the pits. Messer already down and away. 2 tires for the 1 car. Looks like Dylan Black going to stay out. Regan McCall going to stay out. Handful of drivers staying on out. Woldridge back off pit road. A lot of smoke, a lot of damaged cars throughout the field. Pardon me. Throughout the field. They're just doing everything they can to try and get this thing peaked together. They know there's 6 attempts at a green-white checkered here tonight. So trying to make sure they've got everything they need for the shootout. Towards the end of this one, Dylan Black going to inherit the lead. Regan McCauley going to move into P2. Riley Duncan, James Pileski, Tanton Woldridge, the top 5. And looking at the lap times, Riley Duncan, James Pileski appear to have taken 2 tires. Everybody else taking 4. So first driver with 4 fresh tires is going to be Tanton Woldridge in P5. Ryan Messer right in behind him. Riley Frost, Chris McKenna, Austin Cherion, Bobby Hutchins. Little damage on the 3 car, but it looks like he is A-OK. He's running 10th. 11th, Tyler Hallahan, Dave Cassidy, P12. Ricky Miller going to come down pit road, give up a top 10 spot. Greg Snellgrove took 4 tires. Danny Vitch took 4 tires. Ricky Arbo all the way back in P17. Not the stop that Ricky was looking for in that 61 car. He was up in the top 5 just a bit ago, and it might have been a penalty on pit road there for the 61 car, because it appears he's all the way back. Last car on the lead lap. See if we can get a little clarification on that. Green flag flies, though. Great start for Dylan Black. He gone. 2.3 of a car lengths over 97 car. We'll see if he's able to hold on to the lead with those 38 lap, 39 lap old tires. But man, even with fresher tires, yeah, the 97 already taking a shot down on the bottom side. He's going to take that lead with ease. So Dylan Black going to move on back to P2 as James Pileski trying to make it work on the high side for P3, trying to get around Woldridge in the 56. Oh, trouble! Pileski gets a tap from Messer, and we see the 93 car pointed in the wrong direction on the straightaway once again. The only saving grace this time is the caution flag does fly. We're going to have to watch Pileski drive through the field again. He's done it half a dozen times so far in that 93 car, and he's got a quick car. He's got a very fast car, just unfortunately getting it tossed around a little bit. I don't think if it's got anything to do with visibility, because, I mean, you could see that bright green from a long ways away. We'll back up the U-House Racing Design Instant Replay, take another peek at it. We watched it on the live shot. Oh, we're going the wrong way. Boom. So just around the outside, everything looked good. Tried to come in at an awkward angle, just really up high on the racetrack. And you can see here, kind of drives down, thought he had a spot to drive in and tuck in front of Messer in the one car, but unfortunately Messer was there. So now there's some damage on the right front of the Messer ride. Little damage there on Pileski as well. We'll see if he comes down pit road to do anything with that. It doesn't look like it. Drove by the entrance, so as it stands, looks like Pileski going to restart just outside the top 10. Has plenty of time, 185 laps to go. And we've run 150 laps at this point. We've seen Pileski drive through the field at least a half a dozen times. So I don't think we're done seeing the 93 car. We'll see what he's able to do as we approach. We get close to the halfway marker in this one. Got to thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon. Little Sunday afternoon racing, as it were. A January tradition here on VidaneTV and with Tim's Corner Motorsports, the Jim Hallahan 333, sixth running Jim Hallahan 333, live on the internet, all over the place. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share. Let your friends and family know you're watching some iRacing action here on a Sunday night. Not even a Sunday night, a Sunday afternoon, as it were. And you can check out all of our shows on demand and more by checking out the YouTube page. Just go to youtube.com/vidane.tv/live, and you'll be able to get all of the 650 plus broadcasts that we've done over the past 5 years. Be able to take a look at some of the real racing content we've been kind of tinkering with. Got a whole bunch of cool stuff going on here at VidaneTV in the sim racing world, the real racing world, the wrestling world, the hockey world. Just trying to take over, as it were. So the lights are out, one to green, half a lap or so to green. The pace car going to dip down to the safety of pit road one more again. Probably drive a quick little DoorDash order, Vidane.tv/DoorDash. Get $8 off your first 4 orders. Green flag flies. Once again, Duncan, the master of the restart, able to pull away by a couple of car lengths over that second spot. Tanton Woolridge able to hold on to second. Dylan Black doing a great job with those older tires. Currently in P3, has a dogfight in behind him. Riley Hurst and Austin Sharon side by side. They've got Ryan Messer, a hungry Ryan Messer, a little bit further on back. Oh, the 3-car of Black pointed in the wrong direction. That is absolutely going to bring out the caution flag once again. Indeed, there it is. Oh, no, the 33 car getting a piece of the action. Tyler Hallahan, wheel does not look good on that 33 ride. The hugger machine, yeah, that right front needs a hug in a big way. Almost losing a lap, but able to get going again. We'll see if the crew's going to be able to fix that. But man, oh man, what a tough break for the 33 car. You saw had a little bit of damage. We're going to focus in on Hallahan as we get out of the corner here. There's the smoke. 3 cars already around. 33 was getting checked up, got a little bit of a nudge, couldn't see there from Danny Vitch, and gets shoved right into Dylan Black in that 3 car. Man, that is a tough break. We're going to back that up one more time and see what went down with the 3 car. There you see. That was the side-by-side action we were looking at live. Comes down, thought he was clear. The 118 was there. Sent on around. Everything looked good there. There you see. Oh, no, trying to go with a wreck is big hit. Oh, man, how about that? Sliding on through is the 35 car. But unfortunately, with that extra little bit of a shove, the 33 not having the afternoon they were looking for. They can see Dylan Black getting that thing repaired down on pit road. They're going to beat and bang on it, see what they can do. Handful of drivers taking the opportunity to get this thing worked on, see what they can do to get the car back out on track. AC Hallahan, that thing has seen better days. Right front on that 33 car, absolutely could use a hug. So Riley Duncan still holding on to the lead. Top 4 all came down 14 laps to go. Everybody taking 4 tires except for Duncan. He took 2. Stanton Woolridge, Riley Frost, Ryan Messer, the top 4. Regan McCauley, currently in the 5th spot. Came down 50 laps to go for 2 tires. Bobby Hutchins, solid recovery for him in that 3 car. Saw him pointed in the wrong direction just a couple of cautions ago. Currently running in the 6th spot. Ricky Arbo, we're right in behind him. Greg Snellgrove, Dave Cassidy, and James Pileski, the top 10 as they run. 18 cars on the lead lap. Austin Sharon, Ricky Miller, Scott Negus, Chris McKinnon, Denny Vitch. Jake Goodwin is the first car 1 lap down. As we are 1 to green, we take all these drivers, line them up 2 by 2, and we're going to do battle once again. 177 laps to go, 157 complete, 10 laps from halfway, according to my loose but quick math. Dan Woolridge going to elect, Riley Duncan, going to elect to take the bottom side on the restart. Dan Woolridge going to shoot up on the high side. Messer, Frost, Hutchings, the top 5. Green flag flies once again from Barney in the flag stand, and a great restart once again from Riley Duncan. Another good start from Tan Woolridge, though, as well. Able to fire on, off, get down on the bottom side. He's trying to close up on the back bumper in the 97. But Messer is there. Front 6 cars side by, or single file rather, first side by side, back here for 7th. Arbo holding on to it. Hutchins trying to make it work on the high side. Little damage on the nose on that number 3 car, but he's holding on to it. Holding the pretty wheel, and he's making that high side work for him. And we see that happen a lot of times with these super late model races. As we get the dynamic weather change, the tire model, and we get some rubber put out on the track, we're able to really utilize parts of the racetrack that we didn't get to early on. And speaking of utilizing the racetrack, this guy's doing it again. James Pileski up into the top 10. He's not slowing down by any stretch of the imagination. That 93 car is bad fast, and he knows it. In P8 right now, his 3 drivers up in front of him. Little side-by-side action as Miller takes the low side around Snowgrove. Moves him out to the 9th spot. They see a hole opening up for Hutchins in the 3 car. Drifts up just a little bit. Pileski takes a shot. Takes a look, rather. Nothing quite there. McCauley going to drift up the track in the 29 car. Going to open the door for the 61 of Arbo. He's going to dip on down, and it looks like he's going to bring a handful of drivers with him as well. 10th and a half is the lead. Duncan over Woolbridge. Brian Messer and Riley Frost still the top 4 as they run. Single file up there. A little bit of a gaggle back here as Pileski struggling to get around the 29 car. Oh, a little contact between Miller and that 2-9. McCauley up into the outside wall. Gives it a little bit of a scrapey scrape. Still good. Tucks back into the tire tracks of this group. Move that Pileski machine up to P7 now. Miller all over the back bumper as Pileski tries to close in on now the back bumper of the 3 of Hutchins. Very quick car is that 3. A lot of quick drivers up into the top 10. Still chasing our leader, though. Still chasing the leader. 167 laps down, 167 to go. It might have been 168, 167, or 66. Halfway, just past it. Here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Thanks everybody for tuning in on Vidane's coverage here on Sunday afternoon, live all over the internet, over on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Hit those likes, the subscribes, the shares. Be sure to get all the videos on demand over on the YouTube page. And if you got a smart TV or a projector or anything like that, be sure to pull up the YouTube app, do a quick search for VidaneTV, and you can get all of our stuff on the big screen. And join the conversation with hashtag VidaneTV on all social outlets. And let us know in the chat where you're watching from, who you're pulling for, who you think's going to win this thing. And man, oh man, how are they going to beat the 97 car, Riley Duncan? Because he is bad fast in these super late models. Tan Woolridge very quick as well. See those 2 in at 2nd and 3rd. But that right there is a fighting racer. Wanted to make sure that he earned that championship. Didn't want to give anybody an excuse to kind of take that away from him. And taking that fight, putting it into this show here this afternoon. He's all over the back bumper of Riley Duncan, but nobody has been able to get around the 97. We've seen a couple of drivers get to that back bumper, but it's another thing entirely to try and get around that 97 of Duncan. You can see we're coming up on some lap traffic once again. The 55 of Negan not having the best afternoon, as it were, in that 55 car, but still holding tough. Last car on the lead lap now, currently in 15th. Getting in danger to go a lap down. There's a little bit of a slide there from Snellgrove in the 22 rather. Going to put Pileski into the 8th position. McCauley dropping back a couple of spots in the 29, getting stuck on the high side. 72 laps on those tires. Those things are screaming, as is the driver wanting to come down and get some good years or some Hoosiers on that 2.9 car. But doing pretty well on almost 80 lap tires in that 29 car. You can see up the track just a little ways. Car up to the outside wall, currently still green with 155 laps to go. Duncan still leading, Wooldridge in second, Messer there in third. You can see the front four have gotten around Negus in the 55. Not much damage on the 55. Looks relatively clean. Just not quite as quick as some of these leaders. Ricky Arbo having himself a day. The 61 car back here in P5 almost by himself. Bobby Hutchins in the 3 car got into some stuff a little early on. You can see the right front still caved in, but all in all, that 3 car looking mighty fine. There's James Pileski. He's been through the field about 7 times, and very quick. That 93 car. Haven't really seen a huge surge out of the 93 car like we've seen on some of these other restarts where he's been able to kind of drive through the field. He got up to about 7th and plateau, but once again, just past halfway here in the Jim Hallahan 333, 150 laps to go, has plenty of time to try and get up to the front. You can see he's trying all sorts of different lines there in the 93 to try and make that magic happen. There's the 17 of Ricky Miller. A little side-by-side action with Greg Snellgrove. Snellgrove going to take the spot. Regan McCauley dropping back just a little bit. We made mention he's on older tires. It's been about 80 laps since he's come down compared to everybody else's 30 or 40. So dropping back just a little bit. There's the 35 of Chris McKenna. Some damage on that machine as well, but you know what? Still up here in the top 15, just on the outside of the top 10. Running in, 10th. How about that? Going to get around Regan McCauley for that spot. Dave Cassidy a little bit further on back. You can see the field is kind of spread out just a little bit. Danny Vitch going to go down a lap. That's our 13th place driver. As you saw, the leaders just getting down and around. Riley Duncan holding on to it. Putting on a clinic here for us in the Bristol Motor Speedway, and you can see he's starting to pull away now from Tanton Wooldridge. We'll ride on board with the 56. You can see that leader is there, but with these tires getting older and older, 45, 48 laps now on these tires, you really can't hammer down like you want to coming off of these corners. You got to really ease on into it so you don't get loose, you don't get squirrely, you don't lose any kind of traction, especially when you're up here running for that second spot. 24 car had himself a scare. Jake Goodwin. An issue earlier on, 3 laps down, gathering it back up, everything looking A-OK. And we continue. Field relatively split out here for the time being. Riley Duncan up front. There you see, that is your leader, the 97 car. Been the car to beat all night long. Having a solid run here. Tanton Wooldridge in second. We know he's quick in these super late models. We've seen him run the TCM events as well as the RBR Maritime events, as is Ryan Messer in behind him. He'll be racing again this Thursday for the NEP Series. In the points battle for that as well. Riley Frost in the 52 having a solid run. Up in the top 5, currently running in the 4th spot. In behind him, the 61 of Ricky Arbo. Kind of a who's who here in the top 10 for TCM. There you can see James Pileski going to get down and around Bobby Hutchins in the 3 car. That's going to move Pileski up to P6. Drop Hutchins back to P7. Snellgrove a little bit further on back in the 22. He's going to get around the 24, but the 24 is the lap down. Chris McKenna in the fight in the 35 car. Bit of damage on that RKM Bud Light ride, but all in all, still pretty quick up in the top 10. Ricky Miller, the 10th place driver in the 17 car. We check back in with that 93. Very, very quick in that pink and green machine. He's Been around the field a couple of times. He's passed a whole lot of cars. We're going to ride on board with the driver of the 93. You can see he's got his sights set. I believe that's Negus in the 55 car, currently a lap down. So you'll see he'll try and get up to him and get on around like the leaders already have. And then he's going to try and set his sights on the top 5. Wide open track. This is 8.2 seconds behind the leaders. So the front driver's really kind of getting pulled apart, stretched out, as it were. Little rubber flying. You can see the rubber build up on the higher side of the racetrack and down on the apron. This is just outside the top 10. P11 for Regan McCauley in the 29 car. And you can see he's trying to wiggle that thing all over the place, trying to find some grip. A little bit further up, you see Dylan Black trying to have himself a bit of a recovery. Not the night he was looking for. He's currently stuck a lap down, trying to get on down and around. Riley Duncan going to get around Cassidy in the 15 car. To put Cassidy down a lap, gives us 11 drivers on the lead lap, and you can see there are a handful right up in front of these drivers. We're on board with our leader, Riley Duncan. There's the rest of the field up in front of him, and it's not to say that they're slow. It's just Riley Duncan has been setting a blistering fast lap time, pace rather, in this one. You can see there was a car down on pit road smoking, so that's no good. Let's see if we can get an update on who that was, but don't really want to leave the leader when they're this thick in the lap traffic, getting down and around. Everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's, knowing they don't want to be the guy to upset the lead. And as you can see, Duncan has kind of driven away. And I say kind of, he is driven away from Tanton Wooldridge. He's struggled getting around Cassidy, it looks like. He's got Ryan Messer in tow, albeit he's 2.2 seconds behind Riley Duncan in the lead. 97 car hooking it up. You can see he's going to get around Dylan Black, put him a lap down. Gives us 10 cars on the lead lap. There's Miller in the 17. Not a very memorable heat race, but raced his way into the Consi. Solid show here tonight. Going to go to the lap down once again. Not to say anything about these lappers being slow. There's just one hell of a pace being set by the driver of the 97 car. Led almost all the laps here tonight other than the pit road strategy. Still have 129 to go, 128 laps to go here as we cross the stripe this time by. But man, oh man, that 97 car is bad fast. And he's working through lap traffic and pulling away from Tanton Wooldridge and Ryan Messer in second and third. That's something drivers just don't do, especially when they're going through lap traffic. It's something to behold when you're able to take two drivers like Tanton Wooldridge and Ryan Messer and put somebody in front of them and have them get smaller and smaller in the picture. But Riley Duncan doing a great job sifting on through the traffic. You can see he's on the back bumper now of Snellgrove in the 22 car. And it's going to get down and around. And it's about 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, almost 2.5 seconds now. Back to second place driver, Tanton Wooldridge. We'll see if we can see him. There he is, bright blue car in your screen. So it's almost a full straightaway lead now for Riley Duncan as he slices and dices his way through this lap traffic. A couple more cars in danger of going a lap down if we don't get a caution here in the next couple of laps. The next one on the screen, it looks like Chris McKenna and Bobby Hutchins within striking distance of the leader. Ooh, Snellgrove up to the outside wall, giving it a little bit of a kiss. Throwing some blue paint up for a good measure. And it's just crazy to see. That 97 car just able to pull away. 2.8 seconds now to lead over Tanton Wooldridge. You can see Ryan Messer going to take a peek down low. They're battling it out side by side for that second spot. They still have to deal with all that lap traffic that we just saw Riley Duncan get on through. You can see there's at least 3 cars that these guys are going to have to get through. And oh, by the way, Ricky Arbo is even further on back. About a 4-second gap from third on back. So second, third, and fourth kind of right there with it. Messer going to try and take away that second spot, taking a peek down low. Nothing quite there. Going to tuck into the tire tracks. Once again, Riley Frost is in the mix as well in the 52 car. Just waiting to pounce, as it were. coming up on the lap traffic once again for this second and third place battle. 3 seconds is the gap from first to second. Messer down on the bottom side. Tan Woldridge up in the hot side. Same groove as pardon me, as the lap traffic. Couple of drivers down on the bottom side. Little squirrely back on outside the top 10. Everything gathered back up. Everything looking A-okay. We stay clean. We stay green. And now you can see Woldridge going to try and slice through the traffic this time. The drivers on the lead lap, all single file for the most part. There's Miller in the 17 now right up in front of Tan Woldridge. They're side by side on in front of him. These drivers already a lap down. You can see the leader is just gone. He's 3 seconds in front of our second place drivers, coming up on 100 laps to go. 116 laps to go that time. 115 rather. That time by. Still looking 7 cars on the lead lap. We'll take a peek. There you can see that's the 35 car of Chris McKenna. And oh, there's the leader right in behind him. Going to dip down low onto the bright, shiny side of the racetrack. Get on down and around. Another one bites the dust. Chris McKenna going to go a lap down by the time Duncan gets back to the stripe. Trying to put up a little bit. Whoa! Slides on up and puts the 35 in the wall. Leader causes a caution flag in that 97 car. That is not what you want to do with a 3-second lead. With 113 laps to go, we'll see what racing officials deem that as. But with 78 laps since the last time that 97 car came down pit road, only taking 2 tires, I'm going to say he's probably going to come down pit road. We'll take a look at it here in the Use House Racing Designs instant replay. Man, oh man. You can see it was a 3-second gap from the 97 car on back to second. 35 car all the way up on the high side of the racetrack. I don't know. It looks like the 97 drove up. Might not have, spotter might have said clear, and spotter was a little bit too comfortable, I think, there. So the leader gets into it with a lap car. Riley Duncan around. You can see he's going to come down pit road. Tan Woldridge is going to be the leader as they come down pit road. It looks like everybody is, in fact, coming. It's been probably 60 or 80 laps since anybody's been down pit road. Long green flag runs in this one. Been a great race here so far at Bristol Motor Speedway. These guys definitely do not disappoint. You can see just a handful of cars on both ends of pit road. Everybody getting some sheet metal banged out. James Pileski down and away. Messer down and away. Snellgrove having some issues in the 22. He barely made it to speed. We'll have to see if he gets banged for a speeding penalty. This is going to be interesting because we do only have 7 drivers in the lead lap. Looks like everybody on the lead lap pitted. Drivers that are a lap down or more have also pitted, so I don't think we'll get a free wave by or anything like that. So we're going to let this kind of cycle on through. Tan Woldridge, I believe, is going to be the leader. Riley Duncan going to restart third, it looks like. Pileski back up to second. Looks like Pileski 2 tires, Woldridge 2 tires. Everybody else 4 tires. And I do mean everybody. Chris McKenna is the only... it looks like he's going to come down pit road this time. Just came down pit road. Jake Goodwin, the 24. He stayed out. And he's going to get a wave by. So he's going to get one of his laps back. That's actually going to put the 24 car on a lap by himself, 3 laps down. Has a handful of drivers, 2 laps down in front of him, and then another half dozen or so that are 1 lap down. But all those drivers a lap down didn't pit up until 80 laps or so ago, so they had to come down on this caution. So if we get a quick caution, we might see another 5 or 6 cars stay out and get that wave around. Going to take this restart with 7 cars on the lead lap. Tan Woldridge down the bottom side. James Pileski up top. Ryan Messer there as well as Riley Duncan. The 97 car is quick. Led a whole bunch of laps. All race long. Made 1 mistake. And had to restart back there in P4. Hopefully didn't damage that car internally. But it does look like he's got 4 fresh tires. Doesn't seem like he's missed a beat all over the back bumper of that one car, Ryan Messer. He's going to try and take that middle to high groove and make a little magic happen. Messer thought about throwing a block up top, but he knew that 97 car was quick. He's going to try and catch a little draft off of Pileski in the 93 car. Pileski's going to move up to the high side as well. You can see he's kind of working both grooves there. Dan Woldridge has that clean air. He's going to try and drive away while he can. 105 laps to go once they hit the stripe. And that 97 car doing everything he can. This is unfamiliar, uncharted territory for the 97 car. We've been talking about the 93. Been all through this field 6, 7, 8 times from front to back, front to back, front to back. Has gotten up to second a handful of times. Hasn't been able to get to the lead up until potentially this time. As you can see, the door was open down from Dan Woldridge down the bottom side. They get real close about center on exit. Pileski down on the bottom side, going to drift up just a little bit. Try and use all that momentum. Little bit of a slip up there from Woldridge as Pileski moves into the lead. Still stuck in that middle groove. The 97 going to try and take a spot. Does not. He moves up to the middle groove. Dan Woldridge down to the yellow line on the apron. 97 able to get around Messer for third, and he's going to keep utilizing that high side to try and get around these leaders, try and get back to that lead spot. So we made mention the 93 been through the field. He's passed a bunch of cars. 97 hasn't. He's been leading this race since the word go. Had a couple of different pit stops where he'd come down, cycle on through, get right back up to the lead, and I think this is the longest time we've had where that 97 car hasn't been on point. Running P3, getting attacked right now by Ryan Messer. Took a look down low, nothing quite there. Going to tuck into the tire tracks once again, and you can see Pileski leading this thing very, very comfortably. Able to drift that thing up in the corners and have like a late apex to really shoot off those corners. You can see he's able to pull away by an extra half a car length to a car length over Dan Woldridge. But Woldridge really able to get in on the late braking in that 56 car. You can really see sends it on in. As already coming up on some lap traffic here for the leaders. See if we can ride on board with James Pileski. Is going to go around the outside. Take care of those lappers. Not quite send them packing, but waving at them, let them know that he appreciates them getting out of their way. 7 cars on the lead lap here in this one. Not quite a war of attrition. It's just been, we've had a fast half dozen or so cars that have really been the tail of the tape all night long. Pileski still running I don't want to call it a wonky line. It's just a late apex. You can see he's really up high for about 3/4 of the turn and then really yanks that thing down to the left. Woldridge, rather, he's staying right on the bottom side. Let's ride on board with that 56 car just to kind of compare the different lines. There you see the 93 up top, just late apex, last quarter of the turn, really turns it right down the hill. You can see Tim gets there, and just nothing quite there. So there's a lot of trust right now between these two drivers. Pileski's trusting that Woldridge isn't just going to send it on in there, as a lot of times you'll get with some younger drivers trying to get up towards there. A little bit of a slip up from Pileski, and you heard it in the throttle. Woldridge got a little excited, had the opening that he was looking for, but wasn't able to quite capitalize. Side by side for second. They are still duking it out. Messer down on the bottom side, 97 up top of Duncan. Duncan trying to take it away the hard way. Pileski still using that middle to low groove and that late apex to hold on to the lead, but Woldridge is there. Seems like he inches closer and closer to the back bumper of the 93, and we've seen that a time or two with the 97 out front as he completes the pass for third. Guys are able to get to the leader, get right up in the back bumper, even give him a nudge or two to let him know that he's there, but they haven't been able to get around him. Unless they've used the lap cars as picks. There's a 35 car going a second lap down. Not the evening or the afternoon they were looking for, but putting on a show here on VidaneTV. And we thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon. Some iRacing action. 90 laps to go here. The Jim Hallahan 333. Crazy to think this is the 6th one of these we've put on here on VidaneTV. We appreciate everybody sticking in with us. Lots of stories here in the past 5 or 6 years. We're looking for more of those stories here in the upcoming calendar year as Dan Woldridge has himself a battle for the lead. He is down on the bottom side. He has not given up the bottom of the racetrack now, and we'll see what that does to Pileski's line. We saw he's got that late apex, late entry into the corner in that middle to high groove. If he's not able to turn the car down the hill, Does that affect him? Doesn't seem like it. Woldridge just not able to get the momentum on the bottom side. That tells me you're going to have to try and pass Pileski on the high side here at Bristol. I'm not sure that's going to work. I am not sure that's going to work. The 011 car coming off pit road. Big slide for both top two drivers. They gather it back up. Woldridge looked right and saw that the leader was a little bit catawampus. He's going to hold on to it. Has a little bit of an edge this time heading into 3 and 4. You can see the top 6 are really the class of the field. Only other driver outside of the top 6 on the lead lap going to be that 22 car of Snellgrove, having a solid run. As Messer still side by side with Duncan. Messer now down on the bottom side. Pileski able to hold on to the lead. You can see they're side by side for 5th and 6th as well. Riley and Ricky, Frost and Arbo. Back and forth. Frost going to take over the P5 spot. Messer down on the bottom side of Duncan trying to hold on. Duncan trying to get back to the podium and see what he can do with our new leader and our new second place driver. And that's if they let him fight. Because Pileski and Woldridge are having themselves a little bit of a heavyweight swinging match up here for the first 2 spots. A little bit of time before they come up on some lap traffic, so nothing to really worry about there. 18 drivers still out on track. 7 of them on the lead lap. Dave Cassidy having some issues in the Budweiser machine. Going to come down pit road, get that thing serviced. A little side-by-side action for 3rd. Messer still on the bottom side of Duncan. Riley and Ricky in behind them for 5th and 6th. Pileski, Woldridge, Duncan, Messer, Frost, the top 5 as they run. Ricky Arbo there in 6th. Snellgrove, last car on the lead lap in 7th. Bobby Hutchins, first car 1 lap down in that 3 car. Regan McCauley having a solid run still in P9th, 1 lap down. Danny Vitch, Ricky Miller, both 1 lap down in 10th and 11th. We got 3 drivers 2 laps down. Chris McKenna, Dylan Black, Scott Negus. Cassidy is 3 laps down. Martin Landry 5 laps down. Jake Goodwin in the 24 car 6 laps down. And Nick McKay 17 laps down. Looks like he's parked on pit road for the time being, trying to get that thing back up to snuff. As Messer going to tuck into the tire tracks in a 97 for a second. Just long enough for me to get the words out. And they're going to try and still duke it out for that 3rd spot. We made mention it was going to take them a second or 2, and there we are. Second or 2. Boom. More lap traffic for our leaders. And it's crazy to watch Pileski really slice through this lap traffic. We've seen him pass a lot of cars all evening long. He's had some issues throughout the night, had some pit strategy that didn't quite work, but he's got a quick car and he's made up for it with 75 laps to go here. Mirror full of that blue 56 at Tan Woldridge. Both of these drivers very good on the iRacing service. And they are putting on a show here for us on VidaneTV. And once again, we got to thank everybody for tuning in all over the internet. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Ty's watching with us. Brandon Campbell is still watching with us as well. Willie Howells says he should join up. Not sure what days. We don't really have a set schedule there, Willie. We just kind of run what we brung. Got a handful of TCM selects coming up. A couple of the Crown Jewel events here as well. Carson Albe out there, big supporter here of VidaneTV. Tyler Hallahan having fun in the chat. We made mention some of the drivers, they get jammed up in the race, but they get to watch with the fans. So he's hanging out in the TCM chat over there. Andrew Stark's hanging out as well. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're pulling for, who you think's going to win this thing. Freddie Bannister over there, he's rooting for Tanton as they get a little squirrely with some of the lap traffic. Another longtime supporter here of VidaneTV. Make sure you shoot on over to the YouTube page as well. Give us a like and a subscribe because that stuff helps us out in a big way. We got some cool plans coming up for that YouTube page as well, especially once we hit 1,000 subscribers. We're going to be getting up with our boy Ashton Enrique and Conway Customs, Wingnut Productions. We got some merch we're gonna be giving away once we hit 1,000 people. Oh, Miller up on the outside wall. Long race, 333 laps is a long race here on VidaneTV, and I mean, you figure the Cup race here is 500 laps. So that is a long time for a lot of these sim races as well. A little bit of a war of attrition, as it were, but these guys still digging. 7 cars on the lead lap. Had over 45 cars show up to try and qualify for this one. We qualified. We had 4 heat races. Had 2 consies, 3 consies. Took the top 34 drivers as a caution flag flies in the late going of this one. That's going to take that lead that those 2 drivers have accrued and erase it as the pace car comes out to pick up the field here with 65 laps to go. Take a look at the U.S. Racing Designs instant replay. And it's showing the leaders for some reason. We're going to hit the old backwards button one more again. And I'm just not seeing anybody pointing in the wrong direction. We're going to back it up. There's smoke, so there was definitely an incident. There we did see a car off the pace. That's Ryan Messer. That is not good for the 1 car. Pointed in the wrong direction, so we'll see what went down with Messer. Still currently scored 5th. Nope, he's going to come down pit road, so we'll catch up with his pit stop here. There you can see all these drivers fighting for the spot. 52 gets around Messer. Up into the marbles, up into the loose. Loses the back end of the race car. That is a rarity for Ryan Messer. Gets the 61 involved in it as well. A rare mistake from the 1 car. Man, it's tough to hold on to the cars up there. You saw all the rubber build up. That's a tough spot to be in. So Messer going to fall out of the top 4. Came down pit road, as did everybody else. And looking at the pit stops, new leader, James Pileski in the 93 car. A little bit of damage in the right front of that car. Gonna hold on to it. Tanton Woldridge in 2nd. Riley Duncan, in 3rd. Riley Frost, 4th. Greg Snowgrove, top 5. Ricky Arbo, Bobby Hutchins, and Ryan Messer going to be the 8 drivers on the lead lap. Looks like Bobby Hutchins got the free pass that time by. Regan McCauley, Danny Vitch, and Dylan Black, the only drivers 1 lap down. It looks like Dylan Black's going to stay out. He's going to get that free pass, so he's going to rejoin the lead lap. As is, it's like McKenna. McKenna having some issues there, so. Couple of drivers getting a lead lap back under caution. It's now 8 drivers on the lead lap, 61 laps to go. Pileski inherits the lead after the pit stop. 2 tires for the top 2 drivers, Woldridge and Pileski. 2 tires for Riley Duncan. In 4th, everybody else taking 4. Pileski takes the bottom side of the restart, going to take over the lead, slide on up in front of Tanton Woldridge. And that might have been the move of the race, was that particular pit stop to get Pileski the lead. Up to the outside wall as everybody in the top 5 goes by and gives that wall a kiss. No harm, no foul. We stay green. Pileski holding on to the lead. Tanton Woldridge is right there, though. And as we've seen, we've been able to see that car in the lead, use that clean air, really hold on to the lead. And once again, Pileski just really able to attack the exit of these corners. You can see he enters in high in that middle groove, takes that late apex and just drives it right on down the hill, while Will Woldridge is down on the bottom side of the racetrack, just really cranking on that car to try and get it to hold on. There you can see the battle for 3rd, albeit short-lived. Riley Duncan is going to move that 97 car back onto the podium. Riley Hurst back into 4th. Going to take a look down low, see if he can get that spot back one more time. Greg Snellgrove still holding on to 6th. Ricky Arbo in the mix as well. Messer a little bit further on back. Looks like he might have picked up some damage on that thing as he's dropped back quite a bit. But up front, still going to be James Pileski. Tanton Woldridge is right there, doing everything he can to kind of try and hold on to that position and see what he can do in the closing laps of this one. 55 laps to go. Longest race on the schedule up until this coming Tuesday when we run 500 miles at Daytona for the Liberty Racing League opener. Great to have Wes and the boys back on VidaneTV. Going to be carrying a few select races of the Liberty Racing League schedule this year. Not all of them, because as we talked about earlier on, I am going to be making my return to behind the wheel. Going to pull out the old 94 test car, the 94B, as it were. Going to run that fourth race and probably a handful of other races. A little cutting-edge motorsports reunion between myself, Brian Bliss, and Garland Meadows. As the caution flag flies from across the room, as I grab myself another energy drink from the fridge. Let's see what the replay button tells us. Doesn't tell us anything. There's some damage in the 93. I think that's been there. It's all green flag running there. Find exactly where that caution was. Little three-wide action back here. There you saw it. Backed it up just a little bit too much, but those were all lead lap cars. Other than the 35 gets up to the outside wall, Miller into the back, the 20 into the back as well. Oof. Free car giving him a little bit of a nudge. So tough break for those drivers. Pileski trying to fake everybody out. I don't think anybody's coming at this point. You might see Bobby Hutchins in the 3-car come down. A couple of guys towards the back, I would say. But Dylan Black has an opportunity, as does Danny Vitch, to get back on the lead lap here, I believe. 50 laps to go. Light's still on in the pace car. We'll see if they take that wave by or if they're going to come down pit road, maybe get some service to those cars. A lot of times that's the toss-up. Do you take that lap, or do you get some repairs done to the car? It's tough to do both. Lights off, coming to green next time by 49 laps to go. We're going to get the restart with 48 laps to go in this one. Pileski going to elect to take the bottom side of the racetrack, which is different than where he's been running. If he can get up on that high side on the restart, that's going to be good news for the 93 car. He's been using that late apex, really getting entered in kind of middle and high and really driving down the hill. We'll see what Woldridge able to do on the high side. Duncan Frost Arbeau, the top 5 as they take the restart here. Across the stripe with 48 laps to go. Great start there from the 93, able to cross up in front of Woldridge before the line and get down into that groove. But Tan Woldridge is there, really able to close up to the back bumper that time. 97 to Duncan up into the outside wall. We stay clean and green. Woldridge knows he needs to get up around that 93 car right now before he's able to get those tires back where they were moments ago. That 93 car been hard to pass all night long, and he's passed everybody in the field at least 4 or 5 different times throughout the night. There's Ryan Messer getting back into the 5th position in that one car after getting up into the loose stuff, losing the back end of that race car. Everybody here on the lead lap came down about 20 laps ago under that last caution, except for Bobby Hutchins. He stayed out for the track position, regained a lap. He's got older tires, but he is still on the lead lap, running in the 8th position right now. Front 7, front 8, all single file except for these leaders. Pileski up on the high side. Tan Woldridge doing everything he can down to the bottom to try and make it work. You can see just how much earlier the 56 turns into the corner, as we'll take an onboard look at that the 56 car and just really see bright orange gloves there for Tanton Woldridge. You can see there's the 93 car up in front. He's going to take the high side, and then right here, that time he didn't do it. Maybe he'll do it this time by Tanton all the way down on the bottom side of the racetrack. He drifts up just a little bit this time. The 93 car, he was driving down to the bottom side, but I guess we've talked about it so much that he had to change up his driving style. There you can see Tanton. Whoa, big run for Tanton Woldridge in the 56 car. A little bit of a slip up there for Pileski. Big time slip up there for Pileski, as it looks like Riley Frost going to come into the mix as well. There's Ryan Messer, side by side, 3 wide. They get it all sorted out. New leader. Pardon me, Tanton Woldridge. We're going to back that up. A little sacrilegious thing we're going to do here because I want to see it again. We'll back that up. Here is the pass for the lead, and you saw Pileski just way up in the high stuff. Got up into the marbles just a little bit too high. Right there, up into the wall, scuffs it. Hands the lead over to Tanton Woldridge. And now just like that, James Pileski is dealing with Riley Frost coming at him from the third spot. Tanton Woldridge able to drive away. You got to wonder, was there any damage done to the 93 car? Getting up into the outside wall like that. Riley Frost all over the back bumper now. Riley Duncan in the 97 car. He's trying to move up, but he's got a mirror full of the 1 car. Ryan Messer, great recovery for him. Running in the top 5 and trying to take away 4th. Not many cars have passed that 97 car. The 22 car, great run for Snellgrove in that 22. Oh, comes off the wall just a little bit. Ricky Arbo is there. Riley Frost doing everything he can to try and get around Pileski in the 93 car, but he is just so much quicker up on that high side. There you see that blue machine that Tanton Woldridge has driven away. "35 laps to go, that time by 298 laps complete. And it all comes down to this. Tanton Woldridge driving off into the sunset, has himself a full second lead now over James Pileski. Pileski up into the outside wall, 5 or 6 laps to go. I really think he might have caved something in on the right side of that race car because he is not up to speed as he was before. The 52 car all over the back bumper there. Riley Frost having a solid run, just trying to get up and around the 93 car of Pileski. Ryan Messer moves himself into 4th and pulls away from Riley Duncan by a couple of car lengths. He's got his sights set now on that podium, on Riley Frost's back bumper. Duncan there a little bit by himself. Ricky Arbo just a little bit further on back. He's got the 22 behind him. Great run for Snellgrove this evening. Regan McCauley in 8th. Bobby Hutchins holding on. He's the last car on the lead lap there in that number 3. A little side-by-side action with Dave Cassidy in the Bud car. Kind of neat to see the Good Wrench and the Budweiser car racing with each other here in this one. Brings back fond memories of racing's earlier years. Up to the outside wall, though, is Woldridge. Gives it a little bit of a tap. Probably checking on his phone, making sure he still had the YouTube app up with VidaneTV rocking and rolling, as it were. We're live all over the place. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Got to give a shout to everybody watching. "29 laps to go that last time by." Tanton Woldridge has about a second, almost a 2 3/4 lead now over James Pileski. Still dealing with that 52 car there as well. Riley Frost trying to get, he's able, just like we saw earlier, drivers were able to get to the back bumper of the 93, but it seems like it's something else entirely to kind of get around him. And with that line that Pileski holds, just really able to drive down the hill on the exit. It's tough to pass that 93 car, and the 52 of Frost is getting the front row seat of that. Ryan Messer inching ever so closely in that 1 car, trying to get back on the podium here in the late going of this. 25 laps to go that time by. Messer was up in the 2nd and 3rd position, duking it out, and got up in the loose stuff in the marbles up high. Lost the tail end of the racetrack. Or the race car, rather. Spun on around, dropped back as low as 6th, and has been able to kind of drive back through the field. Made mention 9 drivers on the lead lap. Currently last driver on the lead lap, Bobby Hutchins. Solid performance from that 3 car. Usually see him in the 77. 23 laps to go. Tanton Woldridge holds on to the lead, a comfortable lead at that. 2.1 seconds the lead. Tanton Woldridge back to James Pileski. Believe that is the biggest lead we've had all afternoon long, and you can see out front of the windshield here for the young Tanton Woldridge. He's got some lap traffic there, but he's going to catch him here within a straightaway or so. And we've seen so far the lap traffic has behaved. It's been relatively good. So we'll see if that has any play into the final 20 laps or so of this. And just looking at the lap times here, Tanton Woldridge, his best lap was a 14.427. James Pileski in second, his best was a 14.3. 14.4, 14.4, 14.3 for the top 5 best lap times. These guys are a full second slower than their quick lap times. Last time by it was a 15.4 for the leader on these 45 lap old tires. A little 3-wide action for the spot. 97 holds on to it. Ricky Arbo trying to take it away in the 61 car. Getting down to the closing laps in this one. Finally starting to be able to actually breathe myself, which is pretty fun. Apologize to everybody who's had to put up with me all afternoon with the voice cracking and the sniffles. Not all up to snuff as I usually am here. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but had to entertain the masses here. Not going to turn down one of the Tim's Corner Motorsports Crown Jewel events here on VidaneTV, especially the 6th running of it. 16 to go that time by. There's Bobby Hutchins in that 3 car. Tanton Woldridge going to try and take him around the outside, put him 1 lap down once again. Great performance, though, for Hutchins. Usually in the 77 car, rocking the Good Wrench 3 this evening, and he's going to wave to Tanton as with all 5 fingers. Let him know that he's got himself a pretty handsome lead. 2.2, 2.4 seconds now over Pileski. Pileski able to get a little bit of breathing room over to that 3rd place of Riley Frost, only because Ryan Messer is now there. Messer in the 1 car. Got a little bit squirrely up in that high side, high groove, a little bit, a couple laps ago or so. Dropped back to the 6th spot, maybe 7th. And fighting his way back up. Currently holding on to that podium spot, trying to complete the pass on the 52. Maybe set his sights on Pileski. There you can see he's going to slide on up in front of the 52s. The 52 going to try and cross back over. He's going to take a look. He's going to take a look. Nothing quite there, though. Messer able to pull away by about a half a car length. And he's going to try and set his line to really pull away from the 52. Gets another car length or so there. And you can see just around this virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, lots of different lines, 3 different lines from 3 different drivers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And I'd be willing to bet if we took a look at the leader this time by, Tanton Woldridge would probably be on a 4th line completely different than what these guys are running. You can see Pileski still utilizing that middle to high groove. Messer right down on the bottom, 52 of Frost kind of somewhere right in between, but it's 10 laps to go. There's that 3 car of Hutchins that got passed by our leader a while back. So 8 drivers now on the lead lap. They're all chasing this guy, Tanton Woldridge. He's going to get up and around. Oh, the 35 car up at the wall. Everything A-OK. Plenty of room in behind. Just making sure the leader doesn't get caught up in that. There you can see Pileski going to try and get around the 3 on the outside. Hutchins has himself a quick car. He's been quick all night. But these leaders just a little bit quicker. Battling it out for 10th. Dylan Black up top. Danny Vitch down the bottom side. Negus is there as well. Negus is a lap behind these 2 drivers. So these guys fighting it out for 9th and 10th. And Tanton doesn't appear to have much lap traffic up in front of him. Take a look through the windshield. It is smooth sailing. A handful of cars up in front, but he's got such a cushion. 2.7 seconds in behind him with the patience that the 56 of Tanton Woldridge is able to really exercise. With 5 laps to go, I really don't think you're going to see him push the issue too much. There you see the gap between the green car back in second and that blue car here with 5 laps to go. High 5 from Barney up in the flags time that last time by. Coming to 4 to go this time by. 4 laps to go. You saw Negus out of shape in the 55 car. He gets down to the apron. Everything A-OK that time by. That's one thing you do not want to see if you're Tanton Wooldridge, is a late race caution when you've got a 2.6 second lead over the guy that's been stomping the field, by a couple of guys that have been stomping the field throughout the night. Pileski there in second, Messer in third, Frost and Duncan the top 5 as they run. Duncan led a whole bunch of laps earlier on, lost the lead on a pit stop to Pileski. There you can see Vitch side by side with the Dylan Black machine. So those guys in danger of going down another lap to our leader, or are they? Popsicle Sticks 2 laps to go for Tanton Wooldridge in that number 56 car, and there indeed is the white flag, white rag. One final lap for Tanton Wooldridge, and all he's got to do is coast it in, because the next race, next flag, gonna end the race. The 56 car into 3 and 4 for the final time. Comes up on the lap cars. He's gonna wave to him. As he waves to Barney in the flag stand, takes that checkered flag. There you see James Pileski going to finish in second. Ryan Messer on the podium for third. Riley Frost and Riley Duncan going to round out the top 5. What a show here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. These guys putting on a clinic here for us in a big way. And we'll see if we can talk to these top 3 drivers, starting with the VidaneTV Ironman. He's been on the podium about 643 of the 650 races we've done here on VidaneTV, and, well, today's no difference. Ryan, great run here tonight. You ran up front. You had to pass a whole bunch of cars to get there, but all in all, finished on the podium. What'd you see out through the windshield?
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy one. Got a little bit rough at points, but no, it was pretty good. It got tough to pass towards the end there. The main groove kind of moved towards the top for a lot of them, and it was hard to pass on the bottom. But that last run, I kind of was able to figure it out a little bit. Just when I got up to Tanton and those guys at the front, it was hard to make any ground. So we'll take third for sure for how I thought it was going to go.
Now, we talked about yourself and Tanton Wooldridge battle it out for the RBR Season 7 championship last season. We had to add an extra race to the schedule for some Wi-Fi issues. How cool is it to now sit on the start-finish line and watch Tanton do his victory lane burnouts after winning this Crown Jewel event?
Yeah, there couldn't be a better driver to be able to get that one. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, that was cool last year for that championship, how he wanted to add the extra race, and then it ended up being a tiebreaker in the end. So yeah, that's the kind of guy he is. So it's good to see him get one. I knew when he had a straightaway on us at the end there and probably just ride, and I knew that we were going to be in trouble. So congrats to him. Solid
race here tonight. It is in the books. Another podium finish for the one crew. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
Just going to thank any of my friends and family that are tuned in watching. They usually watch these things, so shout out to them. You guys at Vidane for broadcasting these races all year long, and Tim for putting it on. So it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Going to slide up pit road just a little bit further and catch up with a guy I don't think I've talked to in a long time. James Pileski led a bunch of laps here, passed the most cars, went through the field 6, 7, 8 different times, ended up P2. James, how'd you do it?
Man, fellas, let me tell you, I am wore out. Like, I'm soaked, I'm sweating. That was a roller coaster of a race there. You know, I felt like I had good speed, and then I don't know what happened with me and Riley earlier in the race. Luckily, I saved it and didn't smoke the inside wall, and then had a few other issues throughout. And honestly, at some point, I'm just like, you know what? I just want to finish this race. Wherever I finish, I finish. And just the way the pit cycles worked, it kind of led me back up near the front, and I got a good start on one restart. And I felt like no one was going to pass me if I could stay up top, but then I got greedy and went up a little too high, got into the marbles, and hell, Tanton drove a hell of a race though. So kudos to him, man. Congrats to him.
Now, without giving away the farm, I did notice your line's a little bit different here at I almost called it Stafford. My goodness. Here at Bristol, you enter a little bit higher than everybody else, and you almost drive down the hill on the exit. Is that late apex something you've been kind of working on here? Is that the trick to get around the Coliseum?
To be honest, it kind of went like this. At some point, I was trying to stick to the bottom because my buddy was like, stick to the bottom, it saves your tires. And I didn't feel like that was working. And at one point, I don't know, middle of the race or something, I never changed my left side, so it was kind of loose, and I ended up just having to run that line to avoid from spinning myself because I almost wrecked once. And then I just kind of played around with the line and found a line that was really working for me. And then I just stuck with that line for the rest of the race. So I will use that in the future.
The only non-Canadian up in the top 10, passed the most cars here tonight, James Pileski. James, who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack? Who's out there watching?
I got to thank K-Cars, Race Cars, BroFab Welding and Fabrication, Justin Brooks Designs for making my beautiful paint schemes. Got to thank Tim Terry. I've known him for, I don't know, a long-ass time. I don't even know. 15 years, 17 years, something. And thank you, Paul. You always do an awesome job. And, you know, I'll look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
That you will. The Liberty Racing League kicking things off with the Super Speedway. We're going to be trading a little paint. I'm not broadcasting all those races, so you watch out for that 94 car. I'm coming for you.
Hey, we can do a 93, 94 tag team, baby. We can go to the front.
That's right. I'll wave to you while I'm getting lapped. Going to be a lot of fun over at Liberty Racing this season. But before we get there, we got to talk to our winner tonight, Tanton Woldridge. Tanton, I don't know how you keep coming home with these victories, man. The short races, the long races, the crown jewels, battling it out with guys like James Pileski and Ryan Messer, coming home with the victory. Tanton, how'd you do it?
I think just a little bit of luck, a lot of strategy. Tried to kind of knew maybe about 20 laps in. There's kind of 4 guys that had the speed to win tonight, as long as they didn't get tangled up in anything. So really just tried to keep tabs on James, Ryan, and Riley all race long, and kind of see what they were doing, and if they were better than me, how I could adjust myself or adjust the strategy. So just tried to play the long game, play it smart, and I think we picked the right strategy and was able to get it in the end.
Just enough rubber on the tires to do the burnout as well, so that was pretty cool to see on the front straightaway. Easy enough for me to say. Who gets you to and from the racetrack? Who's on that virtual 56 car? Where are we going to see you next?
Yeah, I'll give a huge thanks to Dad, Papa, Mom. Just got home, or I guess away from them. Was home on Christmas break there from school, and I know they were all watching tonight. So, huge shout out to all them. They're what got me into racing, and they're what keeps me going. So, big thanks to them. OM Motorsports. We had a great 2025 season, and I guess it's 2026 now. So, we're getting ready for the 2026 Super Late Model Series. Maybe a couple other open shows, and excited to kick things off in May.
Racing season's right around the corner. Can't wait to get there. Can't wait till it warms up a little bit here as well. Tanton Woldridge with another solid victory here tonight, and the boss man Tim made his way up to the booth from the big red truck. Tim, that was a hell of a show.
Yeah, I would have liked to have a couple of less cautions at the start of the race, but overall, great show. Congratulations to the top 3 and Tanton winning his first 333. We move on to the showcase. It's hard to believe that we're at this point in the season, but with everything going on in February and March, and you know the drill with your real racing gig, that everything starts up a little bit sooner now these days. So I told the guys in the session Thursday, we're going to be running right before NEPS. 250-lap features for the non-winners for the season. We'll transfer probably the top 6 or 7-ish into the showcase, which happens a week from Tuesday. It's Hickory, it's super late models. Been there before. I've had some fantastic shows there. Really looking forward to seeing what these boys can do. But yeah, decent race. Thank you to Tyler and Grug and everybody for letting us put on this show once again. And congratulations to Tanton. And thank you for sticking it out today, Paul, because I know I told you before the show I wasn't really feeling the greatest. And I know you weren't feeling the greatest, but now we get to sleep, right?
We get to sleep for at least a day. Monday night, we're off on VidaneTV. Little double action on Tuesday. Our scheduling manager, who is actually just me, we've double booked on Tuesday night. So VidaneTV, the Ocho, is going to be making its debut. Liberty Racing League, the 500-miler at Daytona, the season opener, are going to be on VidaneTV, as is the Oil Boys Late Model National Series. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're off again on Wednesday. And then you just heard Tim say we've got another doubleheader on Thursday night. That's going to be on both VidaneTV channels as well, so that's going to be a whole lot of fun. And Liberty Racing League kicking things off, $20 for returning members, as well as any Vidane Racing alumni, $30 for new members. get in on the whole season, make sure you have the opportunity to go for that championship belt. They've done a couple of them over there, and West Hogue runs a pretty tight ship, the old sister league of Vidane Racing. And keep in mind, race number 4, January 27th, 2026, 20th anniversary of the Vidane brand. We're going to be running 200 miles at Daytona 07 in the 87 cars, and yours truly is going to be behind the wheel for the first time in a very, very, very long time. It's going to be madness. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a hell of a show. We'll catch you on the flip side here at VidaneTV, and when we do, we will be doing it live.